Welcome everybody to High and Low, a podcast about talking picture shows.
We do films that are corny, some that are horny, some that win Academy Award.
Doing all kind of movies from all kinds of genres, serving hot cakes like plates of lasagna.
Before we get going, a warning to you, you might hear some talk that's a little blue.
We sometimes cuss and we sometimes curse. We like to do it off the cuff and don't rehearse.
Now, if this sounds like your kind of show,
Tune in,
Drop out,
this is High and Low.
Hiya! Hi! Oh, hi there. You just caught me doing some training here at the High and Low DOJO. It's a wild new sensation that's sweeping the nation. It's called karate, and it's amazing. I think it's from China or something. All I know is that it teaches you how to kick ass. What? The Hula Hoop Boys have started a karate dojo too. Those guys are tough, but our karate is tougher. As usual on High and Low, we're comparing two movies connected by a theme. It's a good thing that today's theme is warring karate dojos, and we just watched two kick-ass movies about them. For our high, we're covering the 1984 coming-of-age classic, The Karate Kid. Then for our low, we're talking the 1981 cult classic, The Instructor. I'm Vonn Gonziola, and I'm joined by two karate movie masters, Luke Slobod and Mitchell McIsaac.
Pretty good moves, kid.
Gentlemen, let's sweep some legs. We're talking The Karate Kid, 1984, John G. Avildsen, director of Rocky, couple more Karate Kid movies, Lean on Me, Rocky 5.
The Karate Kid, eh? This is one of those movies that's like permanently etched in the pop culture zeitgeist.
it's in my DNA, and I kind of realized this watching it today. I don't know if I've ever seen it all the way through. I've probably seen parts of it on TV a million times, know every beat from it. And I've watched all of Cobra Kai, and I feel like Cobra Kai over that series has shown me every scene from this movie more than once.
Yes, and
In
all the other
flashbacks.
movies. Half of that show is just flashbacks of the movies. Kind of like putting meaning on just something that happened in just a minor plot beat in a movie. It's like, this is actually the focus of this entire episode.
It's a ridiculous show. It's so fucking stupid.
Yeah. I don't know if it's lessened the Karate Kid for me. It's my first time revisiting it since Cobra Kai came out. But I love this movie. It's so watchable. I could do it again and again.
I think I've seen The Karate Kid a handful of times, but I've never seen any of the sequels because this is a franchise that would go on to have Karate Kid 2, Karate Kid 3, the next Karate Kid would happen with Hilary Swank. This spawned a whole franchise that I never delved into at all.
No.
It's not my franchise.
Not my Karate Kid.
I like this movie. The other ones are fine. Don't need them. But this movie just resonates with me and strikes a chord every time I watch it.
Hits those notes.
Hiya. Not enough hi-yas in this movie, though.
Yeah, what the hell? If you're going to do a karate movie, I want a lot of hi-yas. Did a board even get broken in this movie? I want to see boards getting broken.
Some bottles got broken.
Well, yeah. Is that a karate class thing? You were in karate, weren't you? Did you guys ever break bottles? Was that how you had to go up in a belt color?
We broke bottles in the parking lot after class to settle real disputes.
Oh, okay.
We put all that...
Fight with a boombox, too.
That's
That's
right.
pretty tough.
Smash somebody in the face with a little ghetto blaster.
I guess I had a false memory that Thomas Ian Griffith as Silver was in this movie.
No,
But
he's
that's
in
not till the third one, I guess.
Yeah. The second one, they go to Japan to settle a blood feud.
Right.
And then the third one, Cobra Kai is back.
I think
Yeah.
I think when they asked Thomas Ian Griffith to join the Cobra Kai cast, he's like, I was a psycho in that movie. Like, I was just trying to ruin some kid's life.
I can just come back and play even more of a psycho.
It'd be perfect. Just some rich guy who's just dedicated to torturing a child.
One thing I love about this movie and Cobra Kai is the villains are so unambiguously evil.
They all understood the assignment. They're just going for it. The bad guys are... This is a black and white world that the Karate Kid inhabits. Bad guys are bad, good guys are good. I mean,
Yeah, we don't know why Kreese is bad in this.
It doesn't matter. He's the bad sensei. He's teaching his kids the wrong karate.
No bad karate. Only bad sensei. Pat Morita, it should be noted, was American.
Yeah.
He didn't talk
Yeah.
like that. Not a particularly good Japanese accent, weirdly.
I think it kind of informed a generation of people incorrectly about what Japanese people sound like.
Yeah, I've never heard a Japanese person refer to themselves in the third person like Miyagi doesn't,
He's a bit of a Yoda-ish character.
Definitely some Yoda inspiration there. and
And he's a bit mischievous sometimes.
too old. Train you cannot, Daniel-san.
Wax on, you must.
Wax on, wax off.
Yeah, definitely elements of Yoda. Definitely some of that baby talk that we got in Rambo 2 from the actress, who was also, I think, American or Australian, doing a bad Asian accent.
Yeah. We're not sure how we're going to handle Pat Morita, Mr. Miyagi in this movie yet.
We thought, instead of doing an outdated 1840s era voice, we could maybe just do a Christopher Walken.
No bad karate.
No bad. Karate. First, Mitch suggested we do Billy Crystal's Jazzman voice as Pat Morita, and we're like, I'm not sure that's better.
You like karate. Karate's not like jazz.
Maybe Mr. Miyagi will be Mr. T.
It's Miyagi, not Miyagi.
Hey, Mr. Miyagi.
I pity the fool who doesn't wax on, wax off.
It's all about balance, sucker.
This is like the two hackiest 80s comedy characters you can do combined into one.
Perfect.
What if E.T. and Mr. T had a kid? I pity the fool doesn't fold home.
Oh, that's good, because Mr. T was always about respecting mothers, so that tracks.
Yeah, you know what? He probably would have been okay as Mr. Miyagi in this.
Pat Morita.
Hey, what do we know? I mean, he was recognized by the Academy.
He's amazing in this movie.
Nominated for the Academy Award. I looked up who he lost to. Hang Senior. I'm probably butchering his name, but he's a Cambodian actor who won that year for The Killing Fields.
Well, he was very good.
He apparently got killed. He was murdered in Los Angeles.
Jesus.
Some years later, and people were like, maybe it was Khmer Rouge getting revenge on him, and
All
it's
Pat
like,
Morita got to do is a couple more Karate Kid movies and that Jay Leno movie.
Yeah. Pat Morita rode this train into the ground. He even would appear in the Hilary Swank one.
He's a timeless character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think he's
somehow
so
it
good
didn't
at
lead to a lot of great roles for him, though. Isn't
Yeah.
that funny how, like, it's like, oh, the Academy loves to, like, pat themselves on the back and be like, hey, look, we gave it to an Asian guy.
Yeah.
We had two Asian guys this time.
Yeah.
So anybody got work for them? No, not really.
Sorry, that was the Asian role for this decade.
Yeah.
See you next decade.
When does The Killing Fields 2 come out? All right. Hiya.
Flying jump kick.
Wow. This kid, you have terrible karate. Get in my car. Come to my parking lot.
Those kids, they're going to drown. That's Dead Zone.
Okay, so the movie opens up Newark, New Jersey. The LaRussos are packing up. They're putting all their stuff into their station wagon, and they're heading west to California. California, here we come.
Yeah, it's a pretty sweeping little road trip montage. They basically drive across the entire country, I guess, through this montage. So you kind of see them, at all the road trip landmarks. There's some kind of canyons, maybe grand or otherwise, in the background at some point. All the
Not so grand.
regular canyons.
It ain't so big. Here we find out Bill Conti does the music. Love that guy.
What did he do?
His biggest thing is he did the Rocky theme song.
Oh, yeah.
He's scored a bunch of other movies too.
The score and the soundtrack is probably my favorite thing about this movie. Well, there's a lot of stuff I like about this movie. We'll talk about that. But
really
the music is good all throughout. It's huge for the movie,
And
I
it
think.
hits all the emotional notes it needs to along the way without really beating you over the head too much with it.
Yeah.
This movie reminded me again and again as I was watching it of Youngblood, just because we watched it so recently. In that, like, all the plot beats are basically the same. Like, they're the same movie in terms of they're that sports story of, the underdog coming out on top
Gotta
or whatever.
beat up the bully.
Yeah, but and also just they're both so very 80s.
All of Vaughn's picks are about beating up bullies and getting tucked up by jocks. What does that mean?
He's working through something on mic here, folks.
This podcast is kind of an ink blot test, it turns out.
I am no psychologist, but I think Vaughn may have some unresolved trauma he's working through on the podcast about bullies.
It's a penis.
Tell me more about the penis bullies.
Who is this Johnny Lawrence? Now I sound like Borat.
And Johnny Lawrence, a big star in America. So, on their road trip here, we get a little important tidbit where they need to jumpstart their car. The car's a bit of a jalopy, so that might come up later.
This thing's a real lemon. They're from the wrong side of the tracks.
It's from the wrong side of the country.
Yeah, Ralph Macchio.
Cars are a big thing in both of the movies we're talking about tonight. So yeah, they show up to Los Angeles. They're in some like shithole apartment block.
Yeah.
It's in Reseda.
His mom is like so positive. She's just putting such a smile on the situation and like, look at us. This is our new Garden of Eden. This is our paradise. And it's just like this cruddy like apartment block. Like
The move is for her, right? She got a better job opportunity out there, so it is a positive thing for her. It's a new life. Mr. LaRusso's not in the picture for whatever reason. I don't know if we find out why, but like she's moving someplace better. So she is excited.
Something I've noticed in a lot of older movies is like dads just aren't in the picture in a lot of older movies, especially. And I'm watching them with my kid, and he's always like, "Where's their dad?" And it's like, I never thought of that.
yeah,
This old Japanese man is going to be his new dad.
father surrogate. Yeah, they always point that out about Disney movies. Like every classic Disney animated movie, either one or both of the parents are dead in it. Like for some reason, orphan is a thing that just pops up again and again and again.
Or maybe they just didn't want to animate two parents. All we need is one parental figure.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Walt
which
Disney's-
one of Neptune's concubines was Ariel's mom? We don't know. We don't care.
Could have been anything. It could have been some sea moss or
Could have been Ursula.
yeah. They get around.
He likes them
I'm
big.
your mother, Ariel.
Yeah. Is he like a god like Zeus? Like, you know how Zeus would just like have sex with goats and random things like that and create a new species? Like,
Yes, that's canon.
oh, okay.
Yeah. If I'm Neptune, I'm fucking everything I can under there.
I bet Ariel's mother was a seahorse.
Yeah, me too. And I don't even have to be Neptune.
Just give me a good scuba suit with a zipper.
Everything's shaped so erotically under the ocean. Under the sea.
Dolphins are laughing at me. It's cold down here.
You ever heard of shrinkage?
The dolphins are fucking me. They do that. They're notorious for doing that.
Actually, I've heard that about dolphins. They're nature's little rapists, it sounds like.
I want to swim with the dolphins.
Or are you
Like,
so
I know
sure?
what you mean by that.
It's weird. I think a lot of people go through like a dolphin phase.
Lady.
A lot of people go through dolphin phase.
Everybody goes through a dolphin phase at some point.
Well, they're like, yeah, they're like
So you grow
horses.
up and you...
I don't need you anymore, dolphin.
You find someone who can treat you better.
I said, leave me alone. Go home. Anyway, speaking of dolphins, there's like this gross green drained out pool.
Yeah.
It's this depressing bachelor apartments, basically.
That was one of the selling points. She's like, there's a pool. There's a pool. It's going to be so great. We've got our own pool. And it's just,
Every day we're going to go to the pool, Daniel.
Danny LaRusso, played, of course, by Ralph Macchio. Once again, we're covering Outsiders people. He is very much playing like a little Travolta in this movie.
yeah.
Yeah,
Little
he's
tough guy, little walking around New Jersey tough. Hey, Ma, what am I going to do here?
I don't want to... yeah.
I just want a karate fight, Ma. I don't want to go to the disco dance.
Al Pacino.
Come on, Ma, I'll do the classes at the Y.
He's got a lot of character for a little guy. It's hard not to like him. He's a pretty likable kid, but
He's a little spitfire.
he comes close with this excess of personality.
And there's, of course, an old granny sitting outside, and that's Frances Bay, who you may remember as Granny from Happy Gilmore and many other things.
Okay.
Oh, you should have stayed in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Hey, old thing bad, how'd you know I was from New Jersey?
She's like, oh, I'm from Jersey too. I know. And it's like, anybody would fucking know he's from Jersey.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm from Jersey.
I like how she's basically the crazy Ralph from a slasher movie in this, where she's like, you should go back from where you came. Nothing good for you here. Go back to Jersey.
Don't you get mixed up in any karate fights. It's a dark path.
The karate fighters are more deadly here.
They don't take kindly to Irish Catholics out here on the West Coast.
They go into their apartment and they have a leaky faucet, and this is where they first, Mr. Miyagi first makes an appearance.
He's the maintenance man
the
for the
maintenance-
compound or whatever.
He seems churlish, uninterested in conversation.
They go see him, and he's sitting there in the dark with some chopsticks trying to catch a fly.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I need you to fix our sink. And he's like, after.
Hey,
Yeah,
what do you
how about
mean?
now? Hey, come on, fix my sink. After, I
I
said.
said I'd do it after.
After when?
What does that mean? This guy's talking in riddles.
Just two East Coasters having it out.
While he's unloading the car, he meets a buddy, or he makes a new friend who lives there and tells him about a beach party. They go down to the beach, and old Danny boy is going to make some friends.
Yeah, Daniel kind of gets the drop on him with a karate move. Like, Daniel's karate instincts are pretty prime, so this kid is, like, hiding behind a door, and Daniel karate kicks the door open and sends this kid flying. when you're that age, when you see someone do a karate or someone karate kicks at you, it's the coolest thing ever. And you're like, you're my new best friend.
Yeah, want to go do karate in the garage?
Yep. Want to do karate on the beach later? Sure.
There's a whole bunch of karate kids. They're going to be at the beach.
Yeah, and this is also just right off the bat, the first scene where I noticed the ADR in this movie. I don't know if you guys noticed. Like, this movie, it really stuck out to me again and again, more so than any movie I can think of in recent memory. I was like, ooh, there is a ton of ADR. Every time someone's a certain distance away from the camera, it's pretty much ADR.
Get him a body bag during the last fight. And they have him screaming that, and then they just like cut to him like mouthing wordlessly.
They'll just
Lots of
ADR
bad
full
ADR.
conversations in while people are driving and stuff. Does the trick.
Well, you show this movie to a test audience, and like, what the hell's a karate? What's a dojo? What's going on here? What's any of this stuff?
Someone explain this to me.
Yeah.
Where the hell is Reseda?
We're going to the fight gymnasium.
That's a place I would not know of unless Tom Petty hadn't sung about it in Free Fallin' maybe, but I hear it's a long day.
Living in Reseda?
Yeah, there's a freeway running through the yard.
Well, that's handy, though.
I feel like I know the layout of LA pretty well just from pop culture. Like, I know all the boulevards.
Not me. That city's just so big and sprawling.
Santa Monica Boulevard. You take Santa Monica Boulevard to Compton, and then you're in the Hollywood Hills.
That's the premise of one of the longest running SNL sketches. The Californians, all they do is talk about what routes they take back and forth.
Ages ago on Comedy Bang Bang, where some guy was impersonating the Anthony Kiedis, but he would just sing about driving around LA. Take the freeway down to Santa Monica, riding on the 405.
So accurate.
That's all they do down there is drive around on freeways.
Yeah, it's a drive in town.
Then you go to Sunset Boulevard.
But Danny boy here, Danielson, he's not even 16 yet. He can't drive.
Not yet.
He's not cool enough. So they go down to the beach party, and they got some bopping music playing.
Pop, pop on the beach. Ooh, woo.
Yeah. Some knockoff Beach Boys stuff.
It's total knockoff Beach Boys by Jan and Dean and the Flirts.
Yeah. They also did The Little Old Lady from Pasadena. That was one of their big
Okay.
songs.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I thought that was the Beach Boys.
I thought so too, and I think that turned out to be one of those weird LimeWire misnamed things.
Well, I definitely didn't download it from LimeWire.
Oh, what?
You just told on yourself. 12-year-old Vonn just getting down a little old lady from
I love
Pasadena.
Surf Rock.
I mean, if you're having a beach party, your soundtrack is a little limited. There's only you can draw on Jan and Dean, or you can draw on the Beach Boys. That's pretty much it.
That's the two bands. They had Van Halen. No, I guess Van Halen were around.
Yeah.
Sadly, there's no Van Halen on this soundtrack.
No, this movie's Van Halen's a little too harsh for this movie. This is a gentle movie. It's a very soft movie.
But these children are on the beach. You go down to the beach and some kids are playing this song. You're going to start punching them, karate chopping them, kick sand at
Don't
them.
worry, there's going to be a karate fight soon enough.
Yeah.
Man, these teenagers are altogether too energetic for me. They're all just running around nonstop, kicking things.
They're all California fit.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, when I was this age, we'd stand around a boulder and smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have good video games yet.
Change boulders every so often, but
Yeah.
They do
There was
cardio
one or
for
two
fun.
boulders. Sometimes you get into a fist fight, so that part of this movie's accurate,
Yeah.
but like
they're playing soccer. They're sort of playing soccer. It looks like they're playing keep away with the ball. I don't know if there's any goals, but they just run up and start kicking sand in all these girls' faces. And
yeah, it's a Hollywood nonsense game like in Top Gun when they're playing with
Yeah.
two footballs or whatever.
Danielson.
that makes sense then.
Danielson's making his eyes at Allie, little Elisabeth Shue, who's there on the beach with her friends sitting across the way. You can tell there's a meet cute gonna happen. All Danielson's new friends are like, hey, why don't you go over there and talk to her? And he's like, they kick the ball over to the friends, and it's a cute moment for him to go over and be like, oh, my stupid friends. Anyway, my name's Daniel.
He's pretty good at talking to her.
Yep.
Yeah.
For a kid who's new in town and she's the prettiest girl there, good for him.
He's got spark, he's got confidence.
Yeah, he's not doing too bad off the bat in this, if you ask me, for a kid his age. New
The
in
reason
town.
he's getting bullied is because he's a bit of a hotshot, right? He's
Yeah.
kind of an immediate threat to the Cobra Kai, who will be rolling up on their dirt
See.
bikes momentarily.
Yeah.
He's got that a little bit of wounded puppy energy. He's the cute boy in town. He's got schmutz on his face, but he's also got big eyelashes that he can bat at the girls.
He's got those baby browns.
Yeah.
And Elisabeth Shue, by the way, she was like a big childhood crush for me.
Same. Yeah.
Always loved her.
Yeah.
She's really got a spark in this, and yeah, she's
I'd
great
like her in anything
everything.
she's in.
Yeah.
I came to accept them more as a couple as the movie went along, but I didn't feel like Danielson, Ralph Macchio, he really does have kid energy to me in the way he moves and stuff, whereas Elisabeth Shue,
She likes to go to the fairground or
But she's from the hills. She lives in the richer part of town, and Danielson's living in the Boiling Valley below.
Yeah, they're on opposite sides of the tracks.
how are they ever going to work it out?
Yeah.
No one's ever made a story about that.
Move over, Shakespeare.
Danny Boy and Allie, they're flirting a little bit. Danielson's teaching her how to juggle. Now the Cobra Kai roll up. 4 stone cold badasses on dirt bikes.
Yeah, they're so cool. And I think just right away, if you've got half a brain floating around in your head, you see these kids and you're like, these are the kids I would be hanging out with. Danielson's a little grubby loser. I want to be a Cobra Kai.
That's who you'd be hanging out with?
Yeah. I'd be like nipping at their heels, like, can I please join Cobra Kai? And they'd just probably beat me up, but...
You'd be like Paul Walter Hauser in Cobra Kai, the middle-aged guy who just wants so bad to be part of Cobra Kai then gets hospitalized.
I want one of those karate outfits with the cobra on the back. It's just so cool.
Yeah, these guys are super cool. They're super fun.
Yeah, they all ride dirt bikes.
Yeah.
They've got a radio.
You got Johnny, Tommy, Jimmy, and Dutch.
What about Bobby? No Bobby here yet?
Well, maybe Bobby's on there too.
And Johnny. Do it for Johnny.
Do it for Johnny.
Do it for Johnny.
Johnny's the coolest guy in town, and he looks down at this beach, and what does he see? Danielson getting fresh with his girl, Allie, showing her how to do soccer kick moves.
They just broke up, and they've been drinking warm beer all night. So they're looking for a fight. Johnny, of course, played by William Zabka. He's got the sweet-ass headband. Hardly ever takes it off.
Yeah. He's always got that fucker on.
Yeah.
This guy wears his colors.
You want him to take that headband off? Why don't you try and make him take that headband off?
Yeah, he'll backfist you right in the jaw.
It's attached to my scalp.
So yeah, Johnny's pretty pissed off about what he sees, so he goes down and he wants to talk to Allie about it, and he's being a dick. He's being pretty aggressive about it. Danielson jumps up to defend Allie.
Big
For
mistake.
too long. Yeah, we're in a fight. We're in a karate fight on the beach.
Danielson's trying to be all cool. Johnny smashes, like, Allie's radio. And that's how he,
That's a dick move.
Well, sometimes there's a girl you like, you want to get her attention. Sometimes you smash something that belongs to her.
They just call it a radio. Well, I remember in the 80s, we called them ghetto blasters. And then a little later, we call them boom boxes, when ghetto blaster just seemed weird to say.
Yeah. This is early 80s or mid 80s. 84, That's before
Maybe they hadn't coined those terms yet.
Yeah, they didn't have any ghettos yet to blast. So they just called
Radio
them radios.
Raheem. I mean, they call them Radio Raheem, but they also called it a ghetto blaster and do the right thing.
Boombox Raheem. Johnny kicks the shit out of Danielson, punches him in the face. Danny's eating dirt. He's eating sand by the end of it.
Yeah.
Just crying on the ground in front of every kid in his school. It's just a whimpering, crumpled mess.
Not for the last time in this movie either.
Yeah, no, he is just constantly. Everybody in the school knows that he's getting dunked on. He's just getting blasted by these guys. These
It's so
Cobra Kais.
fun watching Ralph Macchio eat shit and cry like a baby. He does it so much. He did it a bunch in The Outsiders too, and
He was
just
always
goes
crying.
He turns it up to 11.
He's
The
a very
guy's-
sensitive actor.
yeah.
Very gentle.
Yeah. He's quivering, lying in the sand, and Elisabeth Shue approaches him, and he's like, no, leave me alone. And so she's like, okay. And she just walks off. And then on their dirt bikes, the bullies now take off, and with their dirt bikes, they spray additional sand on Danielson.
I can't believe he didn't try to act tough in front of those girls at this moment. Don't go, oh, no, leave me alone.
Yeah.
This is
Say,
really...
yeah, no, I'm all right.
It's okay to
Help
get your
me out.
ass kicked, but just kind of be like stoic about it. That's how you get Allie's number.
Yeah.
This is the passion of the
You don't-
Danielson.
You don't have to pretend you're not hurt, but you don't say leave me alone.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not crying.
You say, can you check my head for me? Or like,
I shit myself, Allie.
I got sand in my eyes.
He punched me so hard, I shit myself.
yeah, exactly. I'm pissing and shitting. And now I'm coming too.
And I puked.
It's making me confused, Allie. You can't be here while this is happening. It's making me confused.
My body is rejecting every fluid that it has. I'm like a squid spraying its ink right now. I can't.
The next day at school, Danielson's getting ready for breakfast. He's having breakfast with his mom, and he's wearing sunglasses. He's just walking around like a Charlie Sheen in like 2007.
Looking pretty cool, I must admit.
And she's like, take off those sunglasses. I want to see your baby browns.
Let me see your baby browns, Danny.
AKA the butthole.
Yeah, he's got a big shiner.
She's concerned about it, obviously, and Danielson, he decides he's not going to make a big deal of it, or don't make a big deal of it, and he just kind of grabs some toast and heads out the door.
Cue Cruel Summer by Bananarama.
Hell yeah.
Great tune.
Danielson catches up with Allie, then want to have a little chat in the hallway.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, my name's Allie with an I. And he's like, Daniel with an L. Pretty smooth, Danielson.
Not bad.
So they're out on the soccer field, and the Cobra Kai are doing like secret hand signals. They're going to plan an attack on him. They trip him up really bad.
So are those gang
He
signs?
basically cries like a bitch again.
Yeah.
Just shits his pants. I'm shitting, Allie.
God damn it. Why'd I wear my white gym shorts? Yeah.
You just got to leave me alone.
I got diarrhea everywhere.
He has no answer for these bullies at this point in time, other than just to fall over and shit every time that he sees them.
Yeah, because now that he's stuck his head up a little bit, he's a target for them. So
Yeah.
whenever you see Cobra Kai in this movie, they're just so unambiguously evil. They're always secretly plotting some way to fuck with Danielson.
And
Yeah.
they're always having fun.
Yeah. Those guys, I want to be those guys. They look like they're having a great time.
Danielson's a square. At a certain point, he's got to do the cost-benefit analysis and be like, okay, every time I talk to Allie, a group of 10 bullies beats the shit out of me and I shit my pants in front of her. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I just have to stop talking to Allie.
But Allie is played by Elisabeth Shue, so
Yeah.
that might be worth it.
And thank God she seems to have a high tolerance for my sniveling behavior.
Well, maybe she feels for him. 'Cause she's been with Johnny. Who knows how their relationship was? Cobra Kai. Those guys are a bunch of
Yeah.
bullies.
That guy's a straight up psycho. Danielson's got to be like a Garden of Eden compared to him.
Next day we see, or later on in the evening, I don't know.
Yeah, he's hanging out in his living room.
He's doing karate.
He's doing karate out of a manual.
Yeah, Miyagi sees him as he's fixing the sink, and he's like, where you learn karate? He's like, from this book. And he's like, karate? You learn from book? What happened to your eye?
Yeah.
And Danielson's like, I fell, or whatever. Well, that's lucky you didn't hurt your hand.
He's protecting his like high school bullies like they're abusers. He's like, I fell off my bicycle and that's how I broke my ribs. But Mr. Miyagi sees right through him.
He knows a bully when he's seen one.
He has a liking for Danielson too. For some reason, he's able to see through his churlish New Jersey exterior.
Well, he sees a bit of a companionship, a bit of a kinship with him, and as we find out later, he lost a child, and so he sees Danielson as the son he never had. They develop a really sweet relationship. So this whole movie, it's like you go to school, you go somewhere else for a minute, you go to school. There's a lot of just hanging out in high school in this movie.
So now we finally see Cobra Kai in their dojo, and we see them training. Fear does not exist in this dojo, does it?
No, Sensei!
They're all a bunch of straight psychopaths.
Yeah,
So,
strike hard, strike fast, no mercy. That's the mantra of Cobra Kai, as we
Yeah.
all know.
Martin Cove is their sensei, the leader of their gym.
Yeah,
and
Sensei John Kreese.
he sets the tone for being just like the most psychopath out of all the psychopaths.
I mean, I took Taekwondo as a kid, and it was kind of like this. It wasn't like psychotic, like kill, and they weren't like, well, they'd sometimes beat up on somebody. But he makes this guy do like 50 knuckle push-ups. They didn't say knuckle push-ups at the studio I was at. That was just how you were expected to do them. And if you did talk back or jump out of line, you were doing push-ups, and lots of them.
I did karate, and it was
It was good.
Yeah, it was good, and I really liked it a lot. It wasn't that intense. Like, it was intense, but it was a very happy atmosphere, a very friendly atmosphere, where no really harsh, nobody's really talking out or anything like that. But it was like an adult karate class. I did karate as an adult.
Yeah.
That would be funny if you were just
I can't believe you just said that on mic.
as an adult, if you just started back talking the instructor and they had to discipline you.
And
Knuckle push-ups, Vaughn.
I got some punishments from the master at our Taekwondo studio
Well,
stuff.
everybody
And, like
likes
had
a
to
good punishment
vacuum
from the master.
had to like vacuum the studio after class and shit.
Oh, yikes.
He would like keep on teaching and he'd like make me run additional laps or whatever. You know me and my smart mouth. I can't
Yeah.
help it.
You
If there's something I
backsassed
shouldn't
him.
say, I fucking say it every time. It's not changed.
Yeah, I recently did a karate class with Fox. He was interested in it. And so we went to one, and it was a good dojo, but it was much more of what the Cobra Kai one looked like compared to my other one, which was like in a community hall type of thing. It was just like they had weapons, they had the mats, they had all this stuff set up, and I could see potential for those guys to be like pretty strict with their making people do punishments and stuff like that.
I think a little bit of that is good for kids. I don't know if I'd send my 6-year-old into fucking Cobra Kai, but
Man,
Strike hard, son.
you got to ask yourself, do you really want an 8-year-old that knows how to use nunchucks?
my 4-year-old told me that the other day that he did kung fu when he was a baby.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
And he fought Red Skull.
Oh, wow. He could show you a thing or two.
I was like, I'll put you in kung fu, and he's like, when I'm bigger than you, I'm gonna do kung fu on you, and I'm gonna push your head into your neck. I was like, okay.
Well, I'm bigger than you now, and I'm going to do that to you right now.
You hear that, Dad? I'm going to push your head into your neck when I'm bigger than you.
I believe him.
Yeah, his big mistake was revealing his plan to you so early, ahead of time.
No, I encourage my kid to grow. We talked about this on the Youngblood episode, I think, but
You're not a man till
that's
you
everyone's arc.
beat your dad up.
Yeah, you got to beat your dad into submission.
Using karate or hockey fighting, whatever your chosen method is.
Yeah.
It'd be like that scene in Fight Club where he's beating up Tyler Durden and he's just bleeding everywhere, and he's like, keep going.
You don't know where I've been, Dad.
Yeah, yeah. That would be the proudest day as a father.
Daniel's he's spying on them. He sees Johnny Lawrence running drills.
He's the star pupil.
Now Danielson's shitting his pants even more, right? He's just finding out that his bully is the biggest badass in the entire valley.
Daniel-san was just popping into the dojo, see if it might be a good place for him to,
He was just
some
passing
rolls.
by it. It just happened to be right next door to where his mom was meeting him for lunch at a diner.
Yeah.
But he wants to learn some karate so he can defend himself.
And little poor boy over here sitting complaining about how poor he is. He's got a big fucking T-bone steak and a giant glass of milk for lunch. Yeah,
Like a Daniel Plainview lunch.
Just eat half a cow for lunch.
Milk.
milk.
They're having a steak and they're having a chat. Basically, Danny's not having a good time.
Yeah, his mom asks him if he's met a girl or whatever. And she's like, oh, wait. He's like, oh, well, maybe kind of, he's being coy about it.
Yeah, she pretty. Well, I wouldn't say she's pretty. She's beautiful. She's beautiful. He just starts mumbling to himself.
His mom leaves, and then he just keeps on going.
He's riffing. He's doing a little bit of like a method acting, I think, Ralph Macchio in this. But he's method acting as John Travolta.
Yeah, he's totally being Travolta.
Yeah.
I know, that's what I was
It's
thinking.
like, oh, well, I guess she's kind of beautiful. She's
She's
like,
smart and beautiful, like hot. I'd say she's hot.
Definitely hot.
like, let the cameras run for a bit. I'm going to riff for a little while.
So he's going down at home on his bike.
Yeah, here the Cobra Kai decide that they want to actually murder him. They run him down off a cliff on their little dirt bikes. And
Yeah.
This is how it happens in nature, The coyotes circle the rabbit and they give him a couple nips to test him. And when he doesn't nip back, that's when they tear him into shreds, Now they're here to murder him.
Yeah. Then Johnny Lawrence just grabs Danielson by his ears and whips him between his legs and skins him in one smooth motion.
Gets him.
Just like a rabbit.
lights his bike on fire, makes a little spit.
Wascally wabbits.
So he goes off a fucking cliff, and then we see him come home, and he's got his busted ass bike, and he's having another
He's shit his
Ralph
pants again.
Macchio freak out.
Yeah, he's throwing the bike. He's like Rambo at the end of Rambo. He's like throwing. He's like, stupid bike. I don't want this bike.
I hate it.
Yeah, his mother runs out, super concerned. She's like, "Oh, Daniel, why are you breaking the bike? Oh, Daniel, we'll figure this out together,
I just
Daniel."
want to go home. I hate this place.
Punching a wall.
Yeah.
So over the top.
You don't do that in
Little
karate.
Travolta, little James Dean. He's kind of just
Yes, James
pulling off
Dean.
all the
Definitely.
big actors.
Yeah.
Can't take it anymore. It's tearing me apart.
She takes him upstairs to kind of comfort him in the apartment. And here's where we find out that Mr. Miyagi was listening to the whole thing, as was everybody else that they live with. Because this is, he's playing to the back row with this whole thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
there's nothing on TV that's as good as this.
And he can't even throw his mic in the dumpster on the first time. He fucking, takes 2 or 3 times, and every time it's just,
Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody, check out this little pussy who just moved in. He's crying about his bike.
oh my God,
I'm
I
sure
think he shit his pants.
half the
I
people.
can smell it. He definitely shit his pants.
Like, I look outside, I see some kids smashing up a bike. I'm thinking, hey, free bike.
That's exactly what Mr. Miyagi's thinking.
It had a bent wheel in the front. Quit being a bitch.
You got to fix it up a little.
Get back on the bike. Next day, he runs into Allie again. They're flirting some more. He's like, oh, I was just in a bike accident. And here's where he runs away. The Cobra Kai guys come up, and or they see Daniel's-son from across the courtyard, and he just kind of skitters away. And
Yeah, and Allie's like, Daniel, you have to. You're being a coward. I'm losing respect for you. And he's like, no, I gotta go. I left my oven on in food's home ec class. I gotta go. And he just kind of creeps away. And
to his credit, he got his ass kicked once. Whatever, that's fine. But then he had a couple. Getting knocked off a cliff would make me kind of want to take a day
Yeah, no, for sure.
away from those guys.
I've experienced way less bullying and been
Yeah.
just as upset.
Yeah.
But you're not going to impress Elisabeth Shue unless you demonstrate that you have a capacity for violence. She's not going to go home with you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for her, I'd walk through that room full of tasers and mousetraps
Yeah.
that they set up in Jackass the movie.
Oh, yeah.
No problem.
I'd walk past one of those anti-personnel mines. Those things are crazy.
Allie said she'd go out with you, but you need to wear a bunch of stakes and swim across a piranha-infested diving tank.
Where are the stakes? Just show me how to put them on.
Yeah. And I was a little alarmed. I can't remember if it's this high school scene or another one, but at a certain point, Daniel-san has camo pants on, and I didn't see them at first. It was a little shocking. I was like, why is there a floating torso in the... Oh, he's wearing camo pants.
How stoned were you? I don't remember him wearing camo pants at any time. It seems more like a crease thing.
That's how well the
Yeah.
pants worked.
Yeah, it was...
Those are good pants. Wow.
Well, if you're a guy who every 5 seconds you're seeing a bully and you're shitting and cumming your pants, camo pants are actually pretty handy. They hide a lot of stuff.
They camouflage more than you think.
Yeah, that pattern could be anything.
He should be full on camo painting his face. like that guy from Predator.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No.
He should just be covering himself in mud.
Did you guys see that guy put squid ink over himself? There's it went viral, a TikTok video or something. This guy found a squid ink sack in the ocean, and he was just like, oh, look what I'm gonna do, and just spread it all over his arms and everything. And then it's been an ongoing saga where a week later he's posting an update video, and he's like, yeah, still stained black with squid ink. Doctor says a couple more weeks and it might start coming off.
Should come out.
Yeah.
Oh,
If I was him, I would tattoo that in. I'd get a tattoo artist just to do a blind stencil onto it, and then eventually it'll all come out, and you'll have a tattoo of a squid from squid ink.
My God,
That'd
that'd
be
be
cool.
perfect.
Yeah, that's what that guy should do.
That'd
Yeah,
be genius.
I love squids.
I thought that was going to turn into a story of how his arm was melting off or something like that. So,
It turns out there's an enzyme in the ink that just chews through human flesh.
so Daniel's son comes back. LaRusso comes back from school. I don't know what to call this guy. It's all so clunky.
Daniel-san, I'm your sensei.
Hey, Daniel's son, I fixed the bike. Here you go. You can take it to school now if you want to. So, yeah, Miyagi's fixed Daniel's son's bike.
Yeah. Then Daniel's son goes to see him, and Miyagi's trimming bonsai trees. I feel like this must have been most Americans' introduction to so many Japanese things
Yeah,
that we all take for granted now.
I think this movie just kind of painted what people thought Japanese people were for a good long while.
And they're magical, of course, as we know
Yeah,
this movie.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Mr. Miyagi is really no different than a Herb Brooks. He's a devious psycho who knows how to manipulate his, athletic charges into getting the best performance out of them. But because he has this Eastern flavor, he gets away with so much. But
Yeah, it's Eastern mysticism.
yeah,
He tells him to start trimming a tree, and he's like, how do I know if my instincts are the right ones in trimming it? He's like, if it come from inside you, it always Right, one.
The art of trimming a bonsai tree.
Bonsai tree.
You make
It's
the cuts.
pronounced bonsai.
Bonsai.
That's how we did it in Okinawa.
Not bonsai. Bonsai.
It's an art, not a science.
You guys ever have a bonsai tree?
No, I kind of wanted one after watching this, though.
They're
I'm sure a
beautiful.
lot of people did.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had one when I was in high school. I got one given to me, and I let it die.
You're like, this is a perfect metaphor.
Turned out I was way too high. The instincts weren't coming from inside me.
They're like, Luke, if you take care of this tree, it can last a lifetime. Left it
So
in
I
the
killed
dumpster. Like, that's a lot of responsibility. A lifetime? I don't know.
There's still time.
Yeah.
Save the tree.
Imagine
It's got to come from inside you.
imagine if a house cat lived for a lifetime. That'd be way too long.
Well, they have stories about things like parrots. Parrots live like 80 years. Live till,
Yeah.
like, they're like 80. Turtles live really old. People have to they're inherited. They have to inherit these pets from their grandparents or from their parents or people who die.
Yeah.
So I would want to pass a pet down.
Yeah, I
That's
don't trust
responsibility.
any kind of creature that lives for that long. I don't like it. And especially not a parrot or a crow or something that can talk
No. Nothing that can provide evidence.
and knows your secrets.
You've got to cut out its tongue.
Cut the bonsai tree, Daniel. Mrs. LaRusso, Miss LaRusso comes and she looks on and she's all happy. Her heart's warm because little Danny boy's made a friend.
He's been crying and getting beat up every day. And
His laundry's been a disaster.
yeah, it's covered in all kinds of weird things.
I know he's a teenager, but
You've been out on Venice Beach again, haven't you, Daniel?
while Daniel's son and Miyagi are talking, Miyagi finds out that it's Halloween and Danielson doesn't have a costume, so they're gonna start putting one together.
Why no go to party? No, if costume go to party?
No, have costume.
Costume you must have to go to the party.
Switch him to yoga. Switch him to Yoda.
Could go either way. It could.
Oh, so that's a detail I missed. Miyagi helped make his costume?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, because it's a pretty great costume.
it is.
It's
so
a genius costume.
it's
especially,
iconic.
like,
yeah.
And it's perfect if you want to get in close with some women.
yeah.
and kind of
They're
stay
going
out
to
of
come
sight.
into that curtain.
Oh yeah, he could have been making love to Elisabeth Shue right there on the dance
Yeah.
floor. What it is? It's a
Making
shower
love.
curtain.
He's a shower. He's got the big shower head, and he's
Yeah.
surrounded by a shower curtain.
So you can just close the curtain around yourself. It's a great costume if you're hiding from bullies. in
I'm
your
no
school.
stranger to costumes that make it next to impossible to walk through a door or navigate any sort of hallway. So, mad respect for this costume.
He
'cause
gets around
It's pretty tall. but
surprisingly well with
pretty
that thing
bulky.
on.
My cup of tea for sure. But then this crazy son of a bitch in a chicken suit just comes out of nowhere and starts splatting people on the head.
That is fucked up. How do you not get your ass kicked for that?
Yeah, where's these Cobra Kai clowns for that guy?
He's throwing eggs at people and everyone just laughs.
He's like the gobbledygooker.
I'd be
from-
throwing hands if someone did that to me.
Danielson's got to
Like
like,
did that to my girlfriend.
He-
Like you have to fucking
Yeah.
hit him.
but you
That's
know,
too far.
he looks over at Allie, Elisabeth Shue, and she's kind of laughing. So he's like, okay, if I have to like kind of laugh
Guess I
it
better
off here.
play it cool.
Yeah, I can't beat the fuck out of him right in the middle of this dance floor. Like
I can't beat the fuck out of anybody.
now Danielson's turning into Christopher Walken.
It's all Christopher Walken.
He sounds a little more like John Travolta. It's a good scream.
Oh, the guy's throwing eggs.
Bit of Dice Clay in there.
Hey, so of course, Chicken Guy's gonna egg the big obnoxious shower costume. So LaRusso gets egg all over his face, in his hair.
Quite literally.
So he's got to go wash up. He goes, and who does he overhear in the stall but Johnny, who's rolling a joint.
Yeah.
And these guys have nothing better to do than to plot against Daniel, it seems. Anyway, he's smoking a joint.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
bad kid behavior.
Yeah, so
I don't know. I think that's pretty cool.
at this point, if you're LaRusso, are you gonna fuck with him, or are you gonna let it go? Because it's kind of like the rest of the movie hinges on this decision.
Well, this is where he has to get his
I think you got to fuck with him because these guys are not necessarily going to relent.
Yeah.
they've
And if you've
stolen
got
his
the drop
manhood.
on him, fuck with him. That's how you gotta get their respect.
He needs
Yeah,
to
and
reclaim
ultimately
it.
that's what happens.
He uses a big hose to get back at Johnny, and I think that it's not a stretch to say that the hose is a symbolic of the penis. And in this scene, Ralph Macchio needs to
right.
get his penis back against these bullies who have castrated him.
It's like when Beecher like fucks Schillinger in
Yeah.
Oz. It's the
Yeah.
same thing. He uses his hose in the shower
Yeah.
to regain his power upon
That's
his
right.
bully.
Yeah.
And I think he also
For a fleeting
takes
moment.
a shit on Schillinger's chest.
No,
in
he
Oz.
shits in his mouth.
Oh, in his mouth.
That's later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Separate incidents.
He beats the shit out of him in the weightlifting room in front of everybody.
Yeah, he like drops the bench press, like the barbell on his
Yeah,
chest,
and then
he can't
shits
move.
in his mouth.
The ultimate humiliation.
Everybody's losing their mind. Now that's entertainment.
Cinema.
Daniel-san doesn't go that far.
No, he just does a symbolic piss all over Johnny. So he unleashes hell with his
This
hose.
is a metaphor, okay?
I'm gonna piss all over you, Johnny. So Johnny's not too happy about this. LaRusso, he's booking it, and he kind of tells Allie while they were having a dance, she was telling him her philosophy. You know, I think what goes around comes around. And as he's running past, he's like, it's coming around. And now all the Cobra Kai guys are just chasing him down and shoving people out of the way. And he's running and he goes through a
Oh, yeah.
field and they chase him and they corner him at this fence.
They cause a car accident on the way out there,
It's pretty
too.
crazy, yeah.
You thought they were going to kill him before.
Yeah, so he tries to jump up this fence, and he doesn't quite make it. They drag him down. They're getting ready to whoop his ass.
They're gonna just knock his teeth out. They're holding him up. Johnny's going in for the kill here.
Yeah, and then in comes Yodo with a lightsaber.
Count Dooku.
I think it's striking me as we go through this movie just how many low points there are in this hero's journey. Just how many times he gets beat up and left on the ground.
Well,
and
you
how
know,
it-
you could comfortably cut like 40 minutes out of this movie, and
Yeah.
it'd be better.
That's my biggest problem with this movie
It's
is there
longer
are,
than Star Wars.
They could have they duplicate a couple scenes a couple
Yeah.
times, and you could get rid of that and really shave some runtime off.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, this is a good scene because, you know, all the Cobra Kai guys are, you know, they got their skeleton makeup on and it looks cool.
Yeah, also iconic costume.
Yeah.
The whole skeleton crew outfits that the Cobra Kais are wearing.
And Miyagi just pops up and just starts inflicting nut trauma, cock and ball torture on all of these guys.
He's just going for low blows every which way.
And you do the math. There's one of you, there's 5 of them. You gotta go
Your nuts I will explode like grapes I will.
Balls haven't dropped, have they?
give it a twist, a quarter turn.
Balls dropped, have not.
Daniel-san, he's so badly
is
beaten up.
Another dojo.
Yeah, they twist him.
So
Yeah, so their balls explode like little fucking bombs.
yeah, they kind of whimper and run away, and Danielson's all bleary-eyed, and he sees Spider-Man. What he thinks looks like Spider-Man, just kind of there. And
Some kind of shadowy Spider-Man from out in the shadows. So I guess presumably Miyagi went to this school dance and was just keeping an eye out on Daniel-san. Wanted to make sure he was dancing good with the other
Yeah.
kids.
Totally. He knows that there's a pretty good chance that he's going to get into more trouble, so he's looking after him. Miyagi takes him back to his little room there, starts rubbing a balm on him. Smell bad, heal good.
Some kind of...
Smell bad, heal good.
Did I ever tell you? I don't know if I told the story on the mic before about the time I saw a Karate Kid scenario happen in real life in front of me.
No, what does that mean?
Some bullies on the train. I'm sitting across from this guy and he's like looking at his phone and he's like this nerdy little guy, and a bunch of like bullies from a fucking Stephen King movie just get on and start chirping him. I'm like, thank God they're not bothering me.
Were you looking at your phone?
Those bullies look tough.
Yeah, they're like
Look at me.
teenagers, but they're like punks, and they were just fucking ragging on this guy. And then eventually they're calling him homophobic slurs and all this stuff, and everybody on the train is like looking and like doesn't know what to do, and myself included, like a total douche. Then one of them snatches the guy's phone out of his hand, and he gets up like in the blink of an eye, like fucking Bruce Lee. He's like slams the guy on the ground, like karate chops him in the neck. All the other like 3 other guys that are with him just like back off, and he's like got this guy down on the ground and like in a chokehold. He gets his phone back. And he's like, "What'd you fucking say? Fucking say, bitch!" And I was like, "Holy fuck!" And everybody, I swear to God, people on the train just clapped. And the bullies got off at the next stop like they were fucking so scared of this guy. He
Yeah.
was an actual real life ninja. It was awesome.
Well, they prey on weakness.
Did they ever pick on the wrong guy that day, because if it'd been me, I mean, I would have just been diarrhea.
You would have been
Leave me
Danielson.
Leave me alone.
I only have $30. Come with.
Yeah.
Here's my ATM card. Come with me to an ATM machine.
You want to come back to my house, fuck my mother? What do you want to do?
See,
Here's my mother's ATM card.
I was like 27 when this happened.
that's just it, though.
Please don't kill me.
A real karate master knows that you avoid a fight at all costs. It's actually better just to diarrhea yourself because they'll probably leave.
Natural protection.
Well,
Yeah.
it would have gotten the bullies
Pheromones.
away, but you would not have gotten an applause from everybody on the
Well,
train. That's for sure.
I would have applauded.
Everybody would have just left you there sitting in your shit.
Yeah,
Finally, I can take the train in peace.
it's hard. You kind of just target everybody when you're doing a move like that.
So Miyagi's healing Danielson up. In Okinawa, all Miyagi know two things. Fish and karate. He knows karate. Danielson doesn't, he can't believe it. This old guy, he can barely fix a faucet.
Yeah, and Miyagi tenderly tends to Danielson's wounds. And
It's much less sexy than similar scenes in in The Punisher, where Rebecca Romaine Stamos is sewing up Thomas Jane's arm, and there's an element of sexual tension. It's a lot less sexy when Mr. Miyagi is tending to your wounds, I have to say.
Yeah, Mr. Miyagi in this mode doesn't fuck. Mr. Miyagi, when he's got his little button-up Hawaiian print shirt with his little hat, that guy fucks.
That's when he's going out to the dance hall for the night.
crush pussy, I do.
Wow.
See how good you crush pussy when 60 years old you are.
So Miyagi, Danielson tells him about his problems. Miyagi agrees to come to the dojo, help him figure it out. He doesn't want to get involved, but he'll go and have a chat with the Sensei Kreese. Miyagi can't drive. I don't know how he gets anywhere. Like, maybe he's just getting Danielson to drive with him because he has somebody else, but I don't know how he gets anywhere any other time. Before they decide to set off, Miyagi's kind of telling him the overall philosophy of karate. Karate here, he points to his head, and here, and heart, he points to his heart.
But never here.
I don't know if he's intending to point to his gut here, but he points to. Have you guys heard of the cum gutters? I feel like this is a new.
I don't know if Ralph Macchio has cum gutters.
So that's where karate comes
Kid,
from.
let's see those cum gutters. Take a shirt off.
I want to see what your cum drainage is like.
There's a little bit of confusion about what
Let
part
me try.
of the anatomy karate hangs out in. One of the taglines for this Karate Kid movie is, he taught him the secret to karate lies in the mind and the heart, not in the hands. But in this line, he's like, no, karate is not in the hand and the mind. It's in the cum gutter. So I don't know
It's
what.
not in the
It's
cum
not in the
gutters.
cum gutter.
Oh, it's not. It is in the heart and the
Karate's
mind.
never in the cum gutters.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
Keep your karate out of your cum gutters.
I think
So yeah, I don't know how we all missed this, but he takes his fingers and he very gingerly traces the lines of Ralph Macchio's
yeah.
nude lower torso.
Yeah.
Those cum gutters.
And it shows him how to do
spits
karate.
on each one a little bit just
Yeah.
to watch the
Gotta-
spit dribble down.
Gotta check the drainage.
Yeah.
Did the surveyor get it right?
Is that similar to, did you guys have to do that when you were in karate? Was that like a thing you do to the sensei?
Every
Is that-
class, we started with a cum gutter inspection.
Interesting.
We'd all have to go in there and just
inspect
kind of...
the sensei's gutters.
No, the sensei inspected ours.
Oh, okay.
Who are we going? We're
Did he
going
use
to
his
inspect
spit,
a
or
sensei.
did he just have a cum mister, like a spray bottle that he would shoot at everybody?
She
filled with cum?
used the cum mister spray bottle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's standard. You know, people
Yeah.
back in the 80s, you could do the spit. People's health sanitation standards weren't quite as high as they were
Yeah.
when I was doing karate. Get your cum gutters.
You call those cum gutters, those
Pathetic.
kids are going to drown in the cum gutters.
So Danielson and Mr. Miyagi are on their way to confront the Cobra Kai dojo. Mr.
Yeah.
Miyagi's going to stand up for Danielson.
Daniel-san's been showing up with worse and worse bruising, coming up with more and more excuses, but
And they're running their punching just, aye, aye, aye. And then somebody sees Danielson watching them. Kreese notices this. This guy's got eyes like a hawk. And he just
Yeah.
sweeps the guy's leg and just like punches him in the, like fakes punch him in the face. Like, you lose concentration in a fight, you're dead meat. Got it?
Dead meat.
Dead meat.
Kids.
Kreese is so over the top and tough. He's a tough guy. He just got sleeves.
He's pure evil.
karate is serious business here. It's life or death. It seems to me that it's largely about attitude. You need that killer instinct, you know. Kreese has it.
This is a karate dojo, not a knitting class. You don't go drop a challenge and leave, old man.
Basically, he's saying that you've got to leave Daniel-san alone. You got to leave the kid alone. You're going to kill him.
Daniel-san's not a fighter like your tough boys. He's a weak boy.
So and Miyagi's like, it's over. It's over. There's no more conflict. There's no more conflict. I can't do that.
Conflict? There is no more.
And so Kreese is like, either your boy gets on the mat or you do, old man. We're going to finish this.
They all, like, the Cobra Kais kind of recognize Miyagi, too. They're like, oh, this is the guy that beat us up the other night.
My students tell me that you beat up, some of my students tell me that you beat them up last night.
You inflicted cock and ball trauma on all of them.
That's a good karate move. I've been trying to train my boys that move.
And Miyagi's so zen, but he loves being like, fight like a girl you do in this movie. See how manly you are when I rip off your testicles like a honey badger I do.
Pillow hands, have you? Too much advantage there is at your dojo. We will finish this at the tournament. Yes.
The All Valley.
This is a big deal. It's a big karate tournament. It's a 6 months away, something like that, or some time away. Daniel-san and the Cobra Kai guys are going to, squash their beef there. Until then, nobody's allowed to touch him.
Yeah, nobody touches nobody, nowhere.
Miyagi insists. Kreese is like, you're a pushy little bastard, ain't you? But I like that. I like that. If you don't show, it's open season on him and you.
Open season.
There is just...
Seems racially problematic.
It is hilarious to watch like a 6-foot-something bully just looming over like a 70-year-old Asian guy and just getting in his face like, oh yeah, you think you're tough?
You always need to be tough and assert your dominance if you're Cobra Kai.
Yeah,
everybody needs to
exactly.
know who's boss.
Never show weakness.
Got it.
Never show mercy. Never show weakness.
Never surrender. It's on. Daniel-san's got
Never
to get
give
himself.
up. Trust your instincts.
Have the eyes of a
Your father helped me like that too.
Daniel-san LaRusso, he's got to get himself in shape. So now we're at our first day of many days of training. The most of the rest of the movie from here on out is training montages and training sequences, and Daniel-san learning the ways of karate.
And I don't know if these are effective training techniques in real life, but they work within the logic of the movie.
I think there is something about the muscle memory thing. Like it's a quick way to down. It's sort of like you're in the Matrix and you're getting jacked up with some knowledge.
Yes.
It's a good way to just quickly download it so your body knows what to do. And now you just gotta.
I'd say a little bit more direct conditioning might be good. It's crazy that he's in this fight. He goes several rounds with Johnny later in the movie, and like he's done nothing but stand around basically for his fucking training. And I don't know if you guys have ever been in the ring, even in a sparring situation. Like, it's one of the most exhausting things you can do is to fight.
Yeah, but he is a soccer player. He's got some baseline conditioning.
I guess.
He's not just coming straight
young,
off the
I
couch.
Guess, young you are, but too old to train.
There is something just appealing about the idea of you could just be doing household chores and all of a sudden you develop a totally separate skill as a result. I'm washing the dishes, I'm sweeping the floor, and now all of a sudden I'm a master at playing the piano or something. Like I'm waxing a car and now I'm a karate master. I think
that would be nice. Hey,
yeah.
That's a real fucking dream world. All the dishes I've watched and I still don't know jujitsu.
Yeah, what the hell? I mean, I've also never tried. I should go to a dojo and throw down a challenge. Maybe I do know karate and I wasn't even aware.
I'm going to throw down a challenge at a knitting class. I think I stand a better chance there. Some old bag will stab me with a knitting needle.
Whoa, take that, Gladys. Gladys just fucking owns you.
Just walk in like one of those bullies on the train. Oh, what are you knitting? What are you knitting? Oh, yeah, that's a real nice sweater. Is that for your grandson? You son of a bitch.
Yeah, you're like Neo in the Matrix. Just look down at your hands like, I know how to cross stitch.
I know needlepoint.
That's a funny bit in Demolition Man where Sylvester Stallone wakes up and all of a sudden he's an expert knitter because that's just something they imprinted on his brain while he was sleeping.
That's right.
Oh, I don't remember that.
They give the inmates who are getting thawed out some kind of like extra skill to help them adjust to life in the modern world.
Hey, you know what would be really funny? Is me knitting.
I'm a big tough guy.
Hey, I think that would be really funny. You put that in. It's me knitting.
All right.
Imagine that.
Me, I was Rocky. I was Rambo. Me with knitting needles.
Get outta
The people are
here.
gonna love it.
It's hilarious.
People are loving me knitting.
And we did love it.
We're talking about it now. So they're training. It's the first day. They go to Mr. Miyagi's ramshackle place. It looks kind of dumpy. It's got a bunch of broken down cars. It's all overgrown. The fence needs painting. The cars need waxing. The floor needs sanding. This place needs a facelift. Luckily, Miyagi's gonna get some child labor to help him do all this.
Miyagi does all right, eh? He's got all those cars. He's got, I guess this is probably his house here. It's
Yeah,
a
do we
nice
know
place.
how he got all that stuff?
We know he was in the service.
Yeah,
But
I think maybe he's just a hardworking dude.
Yeah, veterans are famously overpaid.
yeah. He's
And
In the 80s,
maintenance
though.
men.
Mr. Miyagi is a welfare queen.
Yeah, definitely.
I go driving by his house. He has a house in downtown Los Angeles. 4, 5, 6 cars.
All nice and waxed up, waxed on and waxed off.
These Japanese men, they live in better than we are out here.
Well, I don't think it's fair that Mr. Miyagi can go on welfare and accumulate 5 or 6 cars.
Well, Nancy, maybe we should report this Mr. Miyagi to the FBI. He's doing wax on, wax off. Everybody
Mr.
knows
Miyagi
this
gives
shit.
him the headband, and he's like, "You ready to go?" And Daniel's like, "I think so." And he's like, "You walk on the right side of a road, you're fine. You walk on the left side, you're fine. But if you walk in the middle, at some point, you go squish
Too
Like a
nice.
grape.
like a grape."
Like I squished Johnny Lawrence's testicles.
And he lays down the law. He's like, "You got to do what I say, no questions asked, and that's a deal,
Yeah.
right?" And Danielson's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, why don't you wax all these cars?" And he just lets him go. He's like, "Wax on right hand, wax off left hand." And so he sets about his business, and LaRusso's, he's a little bit puzzled by this. Looking
You
around,
wax
what the fuck?
off, all right.
He's whacking off. I'll whack off in your gas tank, Miyagi.
Hey. Yeah, this could go so much worse. All the while, I'm thinking, where is Danielson's mother as this elderly gentleman is continuing to groom him?
It is strange that she's like totally fine with this Danielson spending so much time with this old man.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure she doesn't even know where he's out half the time.
She's absentee. She's just loving her new life.
Danielson just shows
She's
up.
a single mom.
He's got bruises. She's like, oh.
Yeah.
She just moves on.
She can only care so much.
Kids will be kids. Boys will be boys.
Miyagi comes out after a little bit, basically tells Danielson he's been doing it wrong the whole time. Like, he probably should have gave him some instruction at the beginning. Be like, "Okay, here's how you do it, and here, follow these instructions." But he comes back, he's like, "You idiot, you've done it all wrong. Now, wash some more." And then that's it. He goes and gets drunk and passes out in his house all by himself, and Danielson has to go tuck him in.
Some big
bubble and
wet
spit.
kiss on the lips, and Miyagi goes to sleep.
So we say goodnight in Jersey.
Kind of like my
Mwah.
dad.
Mwah. Mwah,
So,
mwah.
so back at school, Allie's all pissed off about Danielson's fucked up face.
Yeah.
He's just continuing. He's falling apart. He is like a noir detective.
but he-
Every time he shows up, he's got more bruises and stuff now.
Yeah, like what's that movie? Wasn't that the one with Elliot Gould where he's just
The
getting
long goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A total mess by the end of it.
Yeah, just like arm in a cast and fucking black eyes and everything.
Bandage on the nose.
Yeah, yeah.
And here we get one of many. I love how the Cobra Kai, every time they show them, like, they always have, they're throwing some barb at him. It's like, must be take a worm for a walk week. And
Good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not bad.
Got his ass. But he got Allie's address and he's picking her up for a date.
hot date at putt and stuff. And I love this. Allie's parents are the most 80s stereotypical yuppies. They've got, like,
Yeah.
the sweater tied under the shirt.
Oh,
Or,
yeah.
"Oh, Allie, what are you doing? You're not going out with him, are you?"
Yeah, they just have tennis rackets fused to their hands.
Yeah. Gustav, open this jaw for me. I can't. My tennis racket. This is my manservant, Gustav.
My ascot has come loose. Tighten my ascot.
And so they don't take kindly to Daniel at all. He's making a terrible first impression. He's breaking their porch. He knocks a brick loose, and then Mrs. LaRusso's in her little shitty car at the bottom of the stairs waiting. And oh, you're not going for a date in that, are you?
Car couldn't even make it out of the driveway. I don't.
It's LA, man. It's car culture there. If you don't have a hot car, you're nobody.
And these, I don't know what Allie's last name is, but her family, there's somebody in this town.
Upper middle class.
Just high enough up to look down on folks like Daniel.
Yeah, they don't like those Reseda types.
So here we get a really awkward car ride where Elisabeth Shue, I don't know if they don't have a backseat or what, but Allie's squeezed in between Daniel and Mrs. LaRusso. Elisabeth Shue's just playing it super awkward, and then their car doesn't work. So then they have to get out and do that push start thing they had to do at the beginning of the movie, and
That's always humiliating.
Allie's parents pop all their monocles.
To her credit, Allie's pretty on board with unflappable when it comes to this stuff. She was born on the right side of the tracks, but she's not put off by poor people stuff. She
She wants to have a little fun. She wants to kind of go slumming it a bit.
She's like the Uptown girl, Billy Joel's girl.
She's going to marry Johnny, but first she's got to date some Daniels. Then they pull up to the golf and stuff, and this looks like the funnest place in the world. It's got every fun thing a high school kid would want to do.
Yeah, the kinds of places that don't exist anymore. We've just criminalized being a teenager nowadays.
You can't have fun.
You can't go to malls. You can't go to arcades. You can't go to the pool. There's like no place for fucking kids to go anymore.
Just go hang out in a basement somewhere. That's what I did.
It's like, why aren't these kids socializing? They have no place to go.
Yeah. Maybe if there was a place with a water slide and a table hockey and skeet shooting or skeet
Mini
ball
golf.
and mini
Skeet
golf,
shooting.
bumper boats, like the funnest place in the world.
You say fun, I say noise, and I am glad third spaces have disappeared from our society.
Are you channeling your little brother right now? I heard kids playing sports in the park the other day. I complained to the city. I'm Ryan.
Those pickleballers are just so noisy. Must they play pickleball at 12:30 on the afternoon on a Tuesday?
Well, I will say one thing.
People
I've
are trying to
noticed,
play video games here.
and hanging around a lot of playgrounds, I've noticed that you can't tell the difference if a child is having fun or being murdered. Their scream, it sounds the exact same.
Well, not when you're around.
Especially when
He's back. He's back.
I brought my recording devices.
You're the ninja guy from the next movie we're talking about. I'm just having fun sneaking up on kids with a knife in a ninja costume.
Oh, I just wish I had a trophy.
But nowadays, we give our kids participation medals.
They're weak. You can't go through the grocery store. The GMOs. Society these days.
It's so fucking stupid. They're the people that gave the participation trophies. And why are they mad about it?
It's why it's the perfect thing for them to bring up.
I have some participation trophies from martial arts tournaments. I have a gold, a silver, and a bronze, though, but then I have like a couple participation medals.
I have some medals.
I have so many participation trophies and medals that they're actually like a junk problem now. Like I don't know where to like. They're the kind of thing where you're like, do I throw this out? It's a worthless participation trophy that I haven't looked at in 20 years.
How am I supposed to celebrate my mediocrity?
Yeah,
I don't have a trophy case big enough to celebrate how mediocre I am at all things.
I participated.
I'll never throw out my 6th place trivia trophy from 2015.
Yeah, you actually earned that, and it means something.
Drank hundreds of dollars worth of beer to get there.
Gave my son a participation trophy and he grew up weird. Fuck.
You're so entitled.
So yeah, this golf and stuff, they're having a great time. Some more awesome 80s music just kind of pumping through the soundtrack here.
Now, I
The
didn't,
photo booth, they take the pictures.
Gotta
Those
love
are always
those.
cute.
They do
Those
the
are
photo
still
booth.
around in some places.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
are. They have them at the theater.
Except now they're like, we'll send the pictures to your phone. And it's like, fuck.
Well, one of our friends had one of those set up at their wedding, and it was actually a great
yeah.
idea.
Sure.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, me and Ryan got some pictures in there.
Kissing?
Yes, we were saying goodnight. This is how you say goodnight, like in Jersey.
Lower. Lower.
Allie, I'm going to give you a Jersey goodnight kiss. Mwah.
Tough guy kiss.
So we see Allie, of course, is super popular with all of the rich kids, and it's making Danielson a little I don't know about jealous or uncomfortable or something like that. And she's playing it cool. She's like, yeah, no, I'm going to hang out with, I'm busy. I can't go hang out with you. I'm hanging out with Daniel here. And
Yeah. Whatever.
Does he do they do the photo booth? Does he do like a shows her how to putt move? Like, that's a sexy move to show someone how to take a golf shot. You get behind them and wrap your hands around them and you're like, oh, this is how you putt. And you're moving their hips kind of.
Allie should show him.
Yeah.
If anybody knows how to golf in that couple, it's Allie.
Yeah.
We don't
Same
do
thing
this
with
in
like the
Jersey.
tennis thing. You go to correct someone's tennis swing.
Yeah, exactly. Any kind of like
It's
sports move.
It's like you don't need to put your hand up my skirt to correct my swing, but
It's like, this is how you hike a
But
football.
I'm okay with
Bend
it.
over.
This is flirting in the
yeah.
80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a good date, and we're off to training day 2. Mr. Miyagi, he's got a couple of these wooden things in his hands. He's like, hey, what are these, bongos? Daniel's a fucking idiot.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, he's like a prop comic. He turns into Carrot Top for a minute. He's just like... I expected Mr. Miyagi to be like, put those down, idiot. But he's actually amused. He's like, Daniel-san, much humor.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
You much humor.
Too much humor, Danielson.
Oh, humor. So good from you, Daniel-san.
Too much humor. No, not that one. Anyone but that one. So now it's sand the deck day. Again, he's in for another grueling day of labor. So right circle, left circle, breathe in, breathe out, blah, blah, blah. He comes back the next day, and Miyagi's trying to catch some flies with a chopstick, a couple chopsticks. And
Somebody get this guy some rice.
Somebody get this guy a television.
Sure.
All he does is just sit around and catch chopsticks or catch flies with chopsticks.
You know,
and fail at it.
I'd get him.
It's baseball season. He could really be watching that.
Yeah.
I'd give him one of those paddles that has a string tied to it to a ball.
I like those scooping cups. Where it's a ball. Is that what you're talking about? Where you try to catch the ball in the cone?
Same kind of idea. Yeah.
Or you mean a paddle ball?
Paddle ball.
board.
Yeah.
Danielson. Danielson, it's time for the paddle boarding.
No, paddle board is a different thing.
Mr. Miyagi, no.
Paddle ball.
Danielson, I'm going to show you how to sand the deck with my paddle board.
I remember getting a paddle board at like a roadside stop on one of our long road trips when I was a kid.
That'd be such an annoying car toy.
Yeah, in retrospect, I think my mom regretted that immediately because I got good with it and I didn't get tired of it. Oh, it's just another 12 hours to go.
To this day, Luke's still banging away on his paddleboard.
Oh, I'm smacking my ball around. Don't worry about it.
A man who catch fly with chopstick accomplish anything. LaRusso sits down, catches a fly right away. This kid's special. He's a real North. He's a real golden boy.
Yeah, he's a special boy.
Beginner's
He's the best boy.
luck. Mr. Miyagi's not too impressed.
But he goes through some adversity. So now he's got to paint the fence. He's got to paint the fence up, paint the fence down. He's got to alternate, which hand he's using up and down and big boards, little boards, all that stuff.
It's hard work.
He's learning to move his hand in every direction.
Paint the fence up, paint the fence down.
In a circle, up, down, side to side. He'll learn to move his hands in every direction you could possibly imagine.
And Danielson, he can't
With
look around.
very little correction of technique.
Yeah. Very little supervision whatsoever.
Yeah, very absentee teacher. Miyagi's got shit to do, man. He's got to go. He's got hot dates. He's going out in the town. He's got a life to live.
Yeah,
Next day, Miyagi leaves a note and a pile of paint cans to Daniel-san to
Paint the house side to side.
side to side.
And at this point, he can't even be bothered to be there to show him what to do. At first, when he's like, shows him the motion, and he's just getting less and less hands on.
I'm sorry, man. He's a shit fucking sensei.
Yeah. And Daniel-san's starting to get
I would have
pissed
quit
off,
and joined
too.
Cobra Kai. I don't understand why he's dealing with this guy.
Yeah, just go get your ass kicked a few times, and then prove you're tough
Yeah,
enough.
you'd be in the fucking cool crew.
He's got no choice. They won't accept him.
So LaRusso kind of finally has it. He confronts Miyagi. Miyagi uses his magical palm healing powers.
Yeah, of course he's got magical palm healing powers.
I guess it's Reiki, which probably wasn't popular in Los Angeles or anywhere else in the 1980s in America.
It got a bit more popular about 10 years later.
Yeah.
That's where you use energy to heal.
Yeah, that's what he's doing, or ostensibly what he's doing.
Yeah, he
But
rubs his
it's
palms
just
together, puts them on his
Eastern
Daniel's arm.
mysticism. Yeah,
And it worked.
he's-
It instantly worked. His arm is way better.
Yeah, he's John Coffey from The Green Mile, grabbing Tom Hanks's dick and fixing his kidney stone or whatever.
Did you hear about the placebo effect? This is psychosomatic.
I'm not going to comment on Reiki, whether my opinions on it, but the way it's used in this movie is very silly, in my opinion.
And what's that balm he rubs on him? This is his second instance of using a mysterious Eastern
Oh,
medicine.
and this one, it's just his palm. He just heats his palms up and puts it on.
Now he's just using the palms, but earlier he used some mysterious smelly substance
Yes,
on
smell
Danielson.
bad, heal good.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's got a bag of Eastern tricks that he can draw on for whatever the occasion might be.
Little Danny baby boy LaRusso, he's throwing a hissy fit because he's Mr. Miyagi's slave. He's ready to walk on out, and here's where the Danielson has his come to Jesus moment. Miyagi's like, "Where are you going? Like, show me wax on, show me wax off." And Danielson's like, "Wax." And he gets, it's funny. He gets down. He starts like he's gonna start waxing the floor or whatever, and he's like, "Da da 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 da." So he stands up. And he's like, wax on, wax off. He's making fun of Danielson, and then finally he kind of like, throws a punch at him, and Danielson blocks it. And he's like, "Oh, show me wax off." And he blocks it, and now we find out. And I've seen this movie 100 times, and this part just works on me every single time where all the random disconnected bullshit that he had to do, it turns out that it was all a secret thing. He learned how to play piano while he was doing his dishes or whatever.
He's a master.
Got some fundamental karate chops to work with now.
He can do some blocks. He can do, and it's good because he's at his wit's end. He has it out with Miyagi, and he's like,
He
"Hey,
learned like fucking 9 motions. Like day one, if you've taken martial arts, you're learning like 6-7 motions at least.
But you know what they say to learn to draw? You first have to learn to draw a line."
He learned 0 leg work. Kicking is very important in karate.
Yeah, there's no legwork here at all. Whatever.
Too advanced.
But it worked.
I think the karate in this movie is bogus as fucking shit. And that's why I never liked it as a kid, and I don't like it now.
Well, the whole kind of athletic lean to this movie is kind of suspect. Like, this tournament that Danielson will end up in is not... It just doesn't quite have the athleticism involved, it feels like, as like the young blood hockey tournament or something like that, There's very... it's almost like a dance more than an athletic competition in some ways.
In this
it feels
movie?
like.
They're doing some pretty serious kicks, man.
Yeah. There's some athleticism there. There's some like jump kicks and stuff like that.
To an
throws.
extent, but the way this tournament works is like you're kind of in
tough
this
guy over here. Let's throw down, Mitch.
Yeah,
You want to fucking go?
you know how to do a
Hold
crane
on.
kick.
Let's move the participation trophies out of the way before you guys have a fight.
I've got way more participation trophies than you.
I got a silver in sparring.
I don't have any of those. I got several soccers.
I don't remember what I got. I got a black eye in one tournament.
Is that like a black belt?
Black eye trophy is not.
Something to remember me by. Pretty boy. he didn't call me pretty boy.
That he
I joined karate because I was getting bullied pretty bad
When you were 30.
when I was 30.
He put his sai away, his karate knife away, after he threatened you.
Fucking whipping shuriken at the train bullies.
Hiya.
Clattered harmlessly off his gi.
The karate, at this point in time, karate was such a novelty that nobody knew how karate worked, really. And people were going to watch movies in the theaters anyways.
I guess, yeah.
was
American
over 30. You could just-
audiences.
Yeah, yes, which this movie is made for.
By the time I was watching movies, I was just like into Jackie Chan and shit. By the time I even like was aware of Karate Kid, and I was like,
Who cares about Danielson?
yeah, I was like, this shit sucks. Like I've seen fucking 5 Deadly Venoms and shit.
That stuff migrated over a little bit later, so we got way more exposed to it. But 1984, that's not reaching the home market.
Yeah, I wasn't around in '84, so yeah,
You're just a twinkle in your dad's ball sack.
yeah, exactly.
So now Danielson,
I was conceived to this movie actually.
Yeah, that's a good. There's a lot of lulls in this movie. You could you can have some action.
Yeah,
Here we go. More training. Danielson, he needs to learn balance. So that Mr. Miyagi takes him out fishing on a boat, and Daniel-san has to stand on the bow and just kind of do these moves, and he gets knocked down. More training, and then we see Miyagi working on his unstoppable crane kick.
Is that what he calls it? Unstoppable?
No, that's what I call it because it's unstoppable.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever stopped this
Seems
move.
like the dumbest, most telegraphable move
know.
you could do. There's no defense to it. I don't know.
It's like the flying V. It's just like some thing that kids like.
I mean, you do like a switch kick or a returning kick. It is a kick you would do. I wouldn't open yourself up and just wait for a guy to walk into it.
Yeah, well, it's
Like, you need to have advantage. You need to open with a jab or get him when he's on his back foot to do an odd kick like that.
The Cobra Kai's greatest weakness is their vanity, or not vanity, but you know.
Yeah, they're never on the back foot, I guess.
They're always overconfident in their abilities. But this crane kick, it's a kick that in a very specific scenario where you've had one leg gimped, it could come in very handy.
It's a great kick if you only have one leg. Yeah.
If you only have one leg.
I don't think we'll need to worry about that, though. So this training montage is on a beach. Danielson's getting knocked around by the waves. And after that, there's a couple drunk yokels just hanging out of Miyagi's car. You guys ever have to deal with a couple people hanging out at your car?
Yokels, yeah.
No.
All the time.
I am the
You know
drunk
where we live.
yokel. I'm the drunk local yokel. I was harassing a man and a boy the other day by a beach. What of it?
I am the man who yokels.
This guy come up to me.
You're the man who yokels?
This guy had a problem. I was drinking and putting my beer bottles on his truck. He says, "Can you move these?" I says, "No."
I'm yokeling here.
Yeah. I start making faces at him.
Miyagi, this yokels, what are you going to do? And it goes, Hiya! And he just breaks all the bottles in half with a sweet karate chop.
Yeah, this was a nice little move. Yeah, they've got all the beer bottles on the car, and Miyagi, you know, he's like smooth as butter. His hand just cuts through the top of the beer bottles and without knocking the beer bottles over, he takes the top of the beer bottles off with his karate chop.
Dubious.
It's like his hand is a machete. You've seen people open champagne bottles or whatever with machetes.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy's hands are
Great.
They're
Yeah,
trained
that's a
weapons.
great idea.
Lethal weapons.
If you like glass in your stomach.
Daniel-san is in awe, and he's
Well, I
like,
don't
"How
think
did you
they're
do
gonna
that?"
drink
Mr.
But
Miyagi,
it's champagne. What are you doing then?
Oh, that, yes.
it's a celebration.
I'm drinking it.
You just pour it on yourself. If you have
I don't
enough
care if you pour it through Daniel-san's cum gutters. I'm drinking your champagne. You pop that bottle. I don't care.
If you have enough money to
Class.
open champagne with a machete, you have enough money just to give yourself a champagne shower with the first bottle and then open the rest of the bottles like a civilized human being.
I guess I wouldn't know.
I've only got enough for sparkling wine.
I just have enough for a machete.
No
No
Use the
champagne here.
machete, you can get the champagne.
First, in America, first you get the machete.
Yeah. That sounds like vaguely Eastern philosophy. Get the machete to get the champagne. That's something
Then you
Mr.
get the
Miyagi
champagne.
could drop.
Then you get the women. So now they're out fishing. Danielson has to learn that it's all about balance. He's standing on the boat. He gets knocked off the boat. Ah, ha, 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 ha. You're all wet behind the ear. Danielson, you're all wet behind the ear.
He laughs at him so hard. He's like, he's absolutely like cackling at
You
this
got
kid
all
that he just knocked into the lake.
He's his biggest bully at this point.
Yeah. Those Cobra Kai, they'll never get one over on you.
I'm a secret Cobra Kai. I'm making you do all sorts of crazy shit. We watch videos of you at the end of the day, Daniel. We laugh at you. We just sit and watch and laugh at you.
I taught you wrong as a joke. Crane kick? What stupid shit is that? That's not real.
I can't believe you bought it.
Energy healing?
It's all adding up.
So, yeah, Ali's dad is still shitting on Daniel-san. He's like, oh, you have a date? With whom? Not that boy from Reseda. And
Oh, I won't have you seeing a boy from Reseda, Ali.
yeah, because they're at this function.
Yeah, and Johnny's there. It's all the Blue Bloods. They're hobnobbing. And Danielson, he's supposed to meet Ali outside.
Yeah, he sneaks in, though. And Johnny cuts in on the dance at the ballroom with Ali, and he plants a big kiss on her face.
Yeah, and immediately afterwards, she decks him. And Ali wasn't being too nice in the conversation either. Johnny's kind of being pushy. But that's
She's
not what
like,
Danny
don't
sees.
ever do that again. And so immediately he comes out of the kitchen where he's hiding, comes flying into some guy with spaghetti.
So, yeah,
and everybody fucking points and laughs at him as he's got spaghetti all over his
The
cum
entire
gutters.
room. There's like 100 people here, and everybody turns and laughs at this guy who got spaghetti on his shirt.
That's way funnier than knocking him into a lake.
And so Danielson, again, he's thoroughly embarrassed. He shit his pants in front of everybody again.
The only thing that would have been better was like if he stepped on a roller skate and then like landed in the spaghetti and then went skidding backward into a big cake.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, just knocked out the guy who was carrying the cake behind him.
Yeah, and another guy with like a tray with a bunch of champagne flutes on it, maybe.
And it's like another thing Youngblood did better. There was a man who skated into a cake in
Yeah.
Youngblood.
Skating into a cake is always good.
Classic, yeah.
So Danielson, he drops in unannounced now. He's all distraught over this situation. And Miyagi's drunk. He's drunk as a skunkosaurus, and he's singing Japanese army songs. He's like singing old Japanese songs, going on about himself. And he sees Danielson. There's like, Danny, sit down, have some whiskey with me. Let me tell you a story. My wife, she was pregnant.
Let me tell you the most tragic story ever. I don't know if you guys ever had this experience when you're younger, when you come upon a trusted adult figure who's in their cups or in a situation where they're emotionally like bare in some way, where you're like,
All the time.
this is an uncomfortable situation. Like, oh, you're the adult in my life who is puts up your adult face in day-to-day life, and now I'm seeing you in this like
You're
bare
a broken person.
yeah,
aren't you?
you're actually
You're
you're
trauma dumping on me.
Yeah, like
That's not how this relationship works.
you have had too much to drink, sir.
So yeah, we find out that Mrs. Miyagi was pregnant. Miyagi was off to war, fighting for the Americans.
Why was he
I don't entirely know.
Yeah.
but
talking about killing Nazis? But it sounded like she was in an internment camp
maybe.
I got the impression that
in Okinawa or in the United States.
well, I guess,
I thought United States because he was going to be the first American-born baby, Miyagi.
and I don't know how that would have worked for American servicemen. If like, would their families have been exempt from being put in internment camps or whatever? Because he's a Japanese American who served in, I guess, the American Navy or the American Army or something. But
I don't know enough about this to be sure, but my impression
Yeah.
is that Japanese-born Americans weren't fighting in the army in World War II. I could be wrong.
yeah, for the
At best, they weren't, and at worst, they were in internment camps, and many of them were.
yeah, exactly. Because there was kind of weird questions about the loyalty.
Hello everyone, this is the cybernetic organism Omega-1. What these midwits have failed to understand is that over 30,000 Japanese Americans served in World War II, including the 442nd Battalion, the most decorated unit in U.S. military history.
Not Mr. Miyagi. He was a war hero. He got some medal, like a Purple Heart or something,
He looks
Medal
like
of
he's
Honor.
got some things on his uniform because he's right now getting
Danielson
drunk.
points one out and says valor.
Oh,
Yeah, valor,
JD hero.
Stolen valor.
bravery.
I found all these medals
Did you
at a pawn shop in Reseda.
I peeled them off a homeless veteran on Skid Row.
Why don't you point out those machine gun nests for me, Miyagi, on this map here?
So we find out, though, that Miyagi's baby died at birth, and Miyagi's wife died from child complications, and he's a very sad boy. So
Yeah, he just kind of starts breaking down. He's drunk, he's crying. Danielson doesn't know how to handle it, and he's saying, he just keeps repeating, complications at birth, complications at birth.
I just loved Pat Morita's performance through this whole movie. I think it works so well.
He's great. He gets that nice little perk that sometimes you get when you're an actor, where he gets to be mostly a pretty stoic character, and just sort of reacting to the world around him.
He was a comedian too.
Yeah,
That's
this is
right.
a big
He's
change
funny.
for him.
Yes.
And
Yeah, he is funny
his
in
comedy
this movie.
works in this, yeah.
Yeah.
Without Morita, this movie doesn't work
I don't
at
know.
all.
I think he's best in this movie when he's being funny.
And his
Personally.
big role, for those who might not know, was he was Arnold in Happy Days, right? Like with Ron Howard and those guys, with the Fonzie. He was the guy who ran the
malt
soda
shop.
jerk shop
Yeah.
where they
Who
all
else
like
was
to
in
hang
there?
out.
Chachi.
And Chachi and Joni and the whole gang.
God, they loved each other.
Yeah.
God, those were happy days, weren't they?
Will they ever be here again?
Sunday Happy Days?
They were yours and mine.
Now, more training. Danielson's learned the crane technique. His balance is getting better. He's getting better. And so now they're doing some punching practice. Miyagi's all geared up in catcher gear for baseball, and he's just...
The secret to a punch, make the power of the whole body go in 1 inch.
Punching's a lot like
The
lovemaking. Got to take your whole body's power and put it in 1 inch.
Some Reiki energy stuff.
Ah, nice. He starts getting real fancy with his footwork, and Miyagi just kind of throws him down and karate chops him on, for acting like a fool.
Yeah, you lose concentration in a fight. You're dead meat, Danielson.
Too fancy on your feet, you damn fool.
See, he's no better than Kreese. He's no better than a Herb Brooks.
He has his limits. Danielson, he's a pretty big clown, and sometimes he's a bit too clowny for
You're
Miyagi.
making-
He's a pretty serious guy.
He's making too much funny now.
So it's his birthday. He just turned 16. Miyagi gives Daniel-san a gi with the patch his wife made a long time ago of a bonsai tree on the back. It looks really great.
Yeah.
I love the
Yeah.
design.
It's a very nice outfit.
Yeah. And, he's showing him his driver's license. And Miyagi's like, I got one more present for you. And he
Man.
takes him out back, and he's got this old car. I don't know what it is. For once, I didn't look it up.
Yeah, Danielson, he gets his choice of any of the cars, and he
Yeah.
chooses this yellow convertible. Beautiful car.
Beauty. Yeah.
Miyagi's got this whole fleet of like older, super well maintained vehicles that it's like he just gets neighborhood boys to polish them, wax on, wax off.
No
so
wonder
they're-
he was friends with Jay Leno.
Yeah, but if he's... Yeah.
it's all adding up. Yeah,
Oh, what are those cars you're using?
they're probably all in
they blow up in
Leno's
your face?
garage now.
Did you wax off on this car, Morita?
Leno, you are much humor.
Have you seen this? Look at these funny headlines. So much humor here. You much funny guy.
You're not expendable, Jay.
But I don't know about you guys, but after this scene, I'm looking around the neighborhood to see if there's any elderly Asian men that need me to like become their friend or anything.
I'm sure there's plenty of elderly Asian men who'd love to be your friend.
You know, they need a car they can give me though. This ain't a one-way street.
I know, you're acting like you haven't already been hanging out in locker rooms looking for one, but
Hey, look, these aren't a little boy's ill-defined cum gutters. These are a man's cum gutters that I have.
I don't know if you know what cum gutters are.
I want a car. You drive the car into the cum gutter. Everyone knows.
Well, if you bump into the cum gutter, you might screw up your wheel alignment.
Throw it in the cum gutter and go get another, as Eazy-E said. Daniel-san, Allie's not too impressed with him. They're at the arcade, and he's trying to jump in with her and her friends, and she's kind of ignoring him.
Yeah, this is like kind of weird. LaRusso's being a little baby about this whole thing because he doesn't want to hear her out at all. But like she decked the guy. Like
He just needs to apologize to her.
yeah, he's
He
just coming in too hot.
Yeah, her friends are like, oh, she was nice to you, and she didn't like Johnny, and she hit him, you know that? And he's like, oh, okay.
That's why she's got a wrist brace on her, wrist cast.
Yeah.
She broke her hand. Yeah, so here we find out that no matter what happens at the tournament, he's got the girl. Now he's just got to go out and prove it for himself.
He just has to prove that he has a capacity for violence.
Even if he can't punch out Johnny, he can still slap some ass at the end of the day.
That's fine. That's a win-win.
And what a great location this is.
I would quit karate. I don't know why he cares at this point. You've already cucked Johnny Lawrence.
Big time. He's got to really break him and show who's the true king of the All Valley.
I will break him.
Yeah, this really was a time, like this was a pre-MMA world where I feel like there was still a lot of mystery around some of these martial arts and stuff. Karate was the tough guy thing back then, I think. I think a lot of these, like, These Cobra Kai guys, they wouldn't be going into karate nowadays. They'd probably be going into some kind of MMA mixed martial arts thing.
Well, karate was like the
Brazilian
buzzword,
jiu-jitsu.
right? Like even when we were going to school, I was like, well, that guy knows. Maybe Taekwondo was like, well, that guy knows karate.
Yeah.
That guy's tough.
Yeah,
That guy knows
karate or kung
That
fu.
guy's kung fu, Taekwondo.
That guy likes to wrestle.
Don't mess with that guy.
I don't know if Taekwondo ever had that reputation as shorthand for somebody who kicks ass, but
It did a little bit around my schools where it was known
it's
as
just
somebody
something a
was
lot of people on the north side were taking, I think.
Yeah.
We knew who knew Taekwondo.
I knew Taekwondo. Broke plenty boards.
And as a full-grown karate man, I had to go beat up these little Taekwondo kids before they got too uppity.
Nice. Did you
You
guys
just show up in the middle of fucking 6 to 7 year olds training.
You're just like twirling nunchucks.
Ah, bitch.
Mom! There's a strange man.
They're calling the police.
But yeah, this whole scene takes place in a great location. It's one of those, they don't exist in real life anymore, at least not around here. An arcade, like those 80s arcades.
Oh, the golf and stuff, yeah.
Just filled with all kinds of
the
fun
fun stuff.
games. And they didn't have the great home consoles then, but like this is the kind of place that one of the seasons of Stranger Things recently, they based their whole marketing around having an arcade in one of the seasons. Like
Yeah.
that was one of the
one
big set
season where they
pieces.
were all in the mall.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
you remember malls?
That was a good season.
Well, I'm glad they came back to the pun stuff a couple times because it's a great place, and you don't see them, and
No,
it's fun. Looks fun as hell.
it's like a Palladium.
But even by the time we were kids, those seemed prohibitively expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least for people of my socioeconomic class.
There was a
It's
couple
like,
fun
oh man,
ones.
I got $20 for my allowance.
Oh,
you go
yeah.
there and blow it in like 10 minutes on Mortal Kombat or Tekken.
Palladium was a cool place because you could buy
Palladium.
time cards. It was like $20 for a 2-hour
Yeah.
card, and you just play as many games as you could in that time.
Epic. And man, it was never close to long enough.
Yeah.
They had a few of these arcades around. You guys remember the Wizard's Castle? That was one that was in one of the malls.
Gothic Castle. Yeah, that was in Kingsway. Go there, blow a whole bunch of quarters at the Gothic Castle. Or the Wizard's Castle.
When those were like a thing still, I was young enough where my parents could just like deposit me in one of those and the flashing images on the screens would be enough to entertain me. They didn't actually have to give me like quarters or anything. Yeah, I was just
They're
like,
just
"Ooh."
casinos
So when you were
for
like
kids.
3 years
Yeah.
old and your parents just left you in strange
Man,
arcades.
it was a different time. Yeah,
You could smoke in there.
You totally could. They had ashtrays.
It doesn't feel that long ago, but it is one of those things when you think back to our childhoods. It's like, oh yeah, I just like wandered off into the woods for hours at a time with my friends. And I don't know if that happens as much anymore.
I remember there was a place in Stony Plain, I think it was called Game Galaxy, that opened. And me and my best buddy, we started going there. And it's just one guy like in a tiny room, and he had like an N64 and a PlayStation 1.
Welcome to
and-
the Game Galaxy.
Yeah, and he just had a whole bunch of games for them, and you could just go and like pay him $20 and you could play for like 2 hours. So it's just you basically and one other guy. You could have, have a few friends over for Goldeneye or whatever, but you pay him like an obscene amount of money to just sit there and play video games in this like guy's living room, basically.
Weird.
And it was all I wanted to do was like go back there and be like, he has Final Fantasy VII. Like I never even got past like the first level in Final Fantasy VII, but like,
Hey kid, come into the Game Galaxy. We got a spot for you. Don't mind the stain on the sofa.
Got plenty of good games for you to play.
and then it
Final
started.
Fantasy 4, 5, 6, Final Fantasy 7 if you want it.
It was the first place I played Goldeneye, and I just remember him being so excited, being like, "Oh my god, it's so fucking crazy! Look at this game, it's so cool!" And this is like a full-grown man. Another place opened. And this was like the dojo wars started happening because there was some other guy who was kind of a friend of his, but then they weren't friends anymore. And it's like, you don't want to go to Game Land. That guy's a fucking jerk off. And they would and then I'd go to the other guy's place and he'd badmouth the other guy who ran Game Galaxy.
Game Galaxy sucks, kid. Hang out around Game Solar System. That's where it's at.
Here, Does he massage your shoulders in Game Galaxy?
I'm going to use Reiki healing techniques on you. Please disrobe.
It's very mystical. We got a Reiki healing. We'll teach you to wax off. It's coming Game Galaxy. I'll teach you how to wax off.
He took out some kind of balm.
So yeah, you want to talk about like leaving your kids unsupervised in bizarre places with weird adults.
Yeah.
That was like peak that for me.
What a great way to make money.
Oh yeah.
Just like have all these weird kids. Well, I don't want a bunch of weird kids coming to my house.
I thought you were going to say, what a great way
Kids
to
are
make
always
friends.
Their hands are always covered in chocolate.
He
and
just has
ice cream.
flyers on the street being like, "You guys want to play Blast Core? Come on into my house, kids.
This whole thing is just.
What's Blast Core, mister?
This way, children." He's got like a pipe.
You like video games?
One at a time now. One at a time.
So, it's the day of the big tournament. They show up. Miyagi tells the clerk that LaRusso's a black belt. He's like, well, what belt is he in? Why? Doesn't matter.
You got to be a brown belt minimum to participate in this tourney.
And he's like, oh, yeah, he's a black belt. And then he distracts him and steals a black belt from this guy, I guess.
Just happened to be hanging out there and gives it to Danielson. He's like, where'd you get that? Hey, what's all this?
I don't know what
Why
to
you
make.
doing my belt up, Mr. Miyagi?
Normally, you're taking it off, Mr. Miyagi.
He has a little encounter with the Cobra Kai right before they're about to go on, and this fucking aggro guy's like, come on, make a move.
This is the most nuts guy out of
Points
all
or
the
no
Cobra
points.
Guys.
You're dead meat. Nuts because he's Steve McQueen's son.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Chad
Oh.
McQueen.
Interesting. He's kind
He's
of
such a Chad.
Yeah.
He's got like a Billy Idol energy. Like he's got really intense eyes and like bleach blonde hair.
And a really red face.
Yeah.
His face gets super red when he's screaming.
He's the scariest of the Cobra
Oh,
Kais.
yeah. Chad McQueen. Oh, he looks so much like his dad, actually.
Yeah, once you kind of know that.
Yeah.
The tournament's on. It's the All Valley tournament. This is what we've been waiting for. There's a first fight. Daniel, he's LaRusso. He's a little uneasy on his feet. He keeps getting run out. Then
Yeah.
he gets his confidence, and he wins his first fight. And here we get the needle drop for you're the best around. You're the best
The
around. Man, you gotta do it, take it.
This is a song where it sounds like a parody song. Like
Yes.
this is a song when it pops up in anything, you immediately think you're watching a satire or a parody. It's like so purely 80s.
It's cheesy.
The story
It's
behind
cheesy.
it is this was a song written for Rocky 3. The guy, they had Rocky 3 and Eye of the Tiger, and they kind of just switched them around, and it works better. This works better here. in
I
Eye of
like
the
your
Tiger.
best around better. That was a better theme for Clubber Lang. I'm the best around. Fool.
You want to come and play an Eye of the Tiger, the Survivor?
There's no tigers in Rocky 3.
There's only the best. Clubber Lang, that's me.
Mr. Miyagi, where's your woman? Where's your woman?
Bring a woman over here, Miyagi. Take her to my apartment. Show what a real man looks like.
Show you complications.
Send your woman over here. I got a deck to sand, Miyagi.
I'll show you how to wax off.
There's something so threatening about Clubber Lang
You
asking you about your woman. It's like, no, leave her alone, please.
Is this your woman over here?
No, I don't know her. I hardly know her.
What about her? Is this your mama? Clubber Lang's gonna get her.
She could be your mama now.
I'm gonna take her out to dinner. Gonna buy her something nice.
Your woman or your mama? She's going out for dinner with me, and she's coming home to my apartment.
Look at these. These are new earrings.
They're feathers, eagle feathers.
Clubber Lang knows how to treat a lady.
Miyagi, how was your wife's dinner with Clubber Lang? All she talked about was jewelry.
Don't worry about it though. I respect women.
I write songs about it. I write albums about it.
Daniel-san is sitting crouch-legged, taking in all the wisdom.
But what does this have to do with karate, and why are you cucking Mr. Miyagi?
Don't ask questions, fool.
Eat this. The carotene is good for your eyesight, brother.
Help you see real good at night.
Help you see me respecting your mother.
Positive role model.
Oh, Daniel, I'm glad you're home. I just bought your mother some flowers from the grocery store.
You don't have to call me Dad, Danielson. I'm not here to replace your dad. but I do love you.
I just want you to love yourself, Daniel-san.
But Mr. Miyagi's not even my real dad. I don't.
Yeah. Daniel-san's doing pretty good. He's climbing up the ladder there.
We see him winning fights. We see the Cobra Kai's winning
There's some
fights in a
decent
more
fighting
brutal
here.
fashion.
It's a good karate tournament.
There's a big crowd, like 1,000 people at the All Valley. Everybody's cheering. Everybody loves karate.
Daniel-san's, he's getting his ribs bandaged up or whatever, some tensors on it. He's taking some hard hits.
The way this karate tournament works is, I guess if you got a touch landed on you, you lose a point, and you start off in this box area.
It's a 3 point. It's a 3 points to win. I think maybe it's best of 3.
So I guess 3 touches, or if you get driven out of the boundaries, that counts as a point as well. Kind of thing.
If that happens a bunch. So the way tournament karate works is it's 3 points, first to 3 points. In this, anyways, first to 3 points wins. If you get driven out, that's a warning. If you keep doing it, then they get a point. And
okay.
It's like, got to be to the body and to the face. It can't be to the back
Yeah.
of the head. Can't be to the legs.
Below the
legs
belt.
Nothing below the belt.
So there's a certain artfulness to it where, like, Daniel-san seems to get a lot of mileage out of anticipating what his opponents are going to do and making, like, a very artful sidestep. And
He gets a lot of mileage of just hopping around like a nervous bunny and just hoping to land a punch first.
That is the impression I got. He's like an animal who's, like, going against a bunch of wolves or something. He's very twitchy, but I feel like that would be good for dodging blows and stuff.
See that, Miyagi? That's the bunny hop. I taught him that.
The old 1-2.
I taught him real karate.
My real karate is boxing. So it's the semifinal fight, I guess.
He's against Bobby, I think.
Yeah, Bobby Brown is the guy's name.
Oh shit! Look out!
yeah.
He's
Look out.
sniffing. He's got his bag of coke.
He beat up Whitney Houston pretty bad. But no, it's a white kid.
Bobby Brown was in Cobra Kai. He was a real tough guy, real tough fool.
New edition, Cobra Kai.
My prerogative.
And so Kreese goes to Bobby before the fight. He's like, I want him out of commission. And Bobby's like, what? No, like, I'll get disqualified.
I could beat this fool.
Yeah. And Kreese is like, I want him out of commission.
End it.
And so
Break his leg.
the fight goes. Bobby does a jump kick right onto LaRusso's knee.
Yeah.
And it takes Daniel-san down. And so Bobby gets disqualified like he figured he would.
It's a
LaRusso's-
big commotion right off the top. It's chaos. Everyone's like all emotional. Even Bobby, the guy who did the jump kick on LaRusso's leg, he's like, I'm sorry, Daniel. I didn't mean to do it. I never wanted to do it this way.
It's not
He's
cool.
like,
Yeah.
And the announcer just says over the PA, he's like, LaRusso has 15 minutes to get back into the ring and fight Johnny Lawrence, or else it's Johnny wins by default. Okay. I don't know. It seems to me like Johnny should have to fight somebody else in that case, but
Yeah, I guess so.
We didn't plan for this.
winner by default. I mean, there's got to be something in the rule books about this. I don't know, but
Give them all participation trophies.
those hadn't been invented yet. Thank God.
Yeah, they bring Daniel-san into the back room, into the locker room. He's like a World War I casualty who stepped on a landmine or something. He's like, he's very faint. He's fading in and out.
I shit my pants again, Miyagi.
This is the 7th
I need clean gi.
Daniel-san only had one gi.
So Miyagi
can't
has to
fight.
do his magical healing again. Daniel-san asks him to do it. Nobody really wants him to fight, but it's what LaRusso wants, so Miyagi heals his knee up
Rubs his hands together, lays healing hands on him. He gains 10 HP.
just enough to fight in the next fight. They're about to give Johnny this big-ass trophy, and Ali comes out, whispers something in the judge's ear or the presenter's ear, and he's like, what's this? Daniel LaRusso's going to fight. Daniel LaRusso's going to fight!
The fight is still on, ladies and gentlemen.
Everybody loses their mind. All the people who were putting their coats on start taking their coats off and like, oh, maybe there's some more karate. I never much cared for the trophy ceremony, but karate, I like karate.
Yeah.
All the real karate fighting happens on the way to the trophy.
And so it's the final fight. LaRusso gets a punch in. It's 1-0. Johnny's pretty shook up by this. Then LaRusso does a takedown. It's 2-0. And sorry, I was wrong earlier. It's first to 3 points, not best of 3 points.
That's more like it.
Now Johnny gets a couple in. Oh, he gets one in. Kreese tells him to sweep the leg.
Johnny is vicious. He's lethal
That's
with
dirty.
his quick
You get a
karate
warning.
moves. He's like a cobra. He's aptly named being in this Cobra Kai, the way he strikes.
He does it. He sweeps the leg.
He's very emotional about it, though.
Kreese is like, no mercy.
Like, him and Kreese exchange a look. Like, Kreese is like, you gotta sweep the leg. And Johnny's like, I can't sweep the leg.
We know from Cobra Kai, the TV show now, like this was like the moment where he realized Kreese ruined his life,
Yes.
basically.
Everything. There was no chance for redemption after this.
Yeah.
This
No.
rich boy just couldn't get his act together.
No, he
Yep.
tried to sweep the leg. It wasn't the honorable thing.
And so everybody's up in arms after this happens. And little Tommy's like, get him a body bag. Get him a fucking body
He's
bag.
almost dead.
After Johnny elbowed LaRusso in the knee. It's all come down to this.
2-2.
Johnny's getting ready to fucking charge at him, and we see LaRusso do the thing where he lifts his arms up.
The crane kick.
Yep. This
Yeah.
is the big crane kick, and we don't need to describe it. The listeners know what
You've
it
seen it.
is.
You've all
You
seen this
all
movie.
know what this is.
LaRusso
it's just like
wins.
describing Star Wars. Like,
Yeah.
everybody knows what
Yeah, yeah,
happens.
yeah.
I knew you could do it, sucker. I knew you could get that crane kick right in his face.
If you've seen a crane
Now me and your mother are gonna go
before,
out for a nice dinner. And then drive along the coast.
you've seen a crane kick.
I'm not going to make her do anything she doesn't want to do, LaRusso.
I'll drop her off by 10 o'clock.
My coworker was describing to me.
I left some hot dogs thawing for you in the sink.
I've heard that cranes can actually be a very terrifying animal. If you're way up north working out in the wilderness, there's some cranes that are like 6 feet tall. And if you're out working in the bog, you can go around a tree and all of a sudden you're face to face with this 6 foot tall velociraptor looking thing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they've got
Actually.
very big long legs. I think most of their height is in the legs, the cranes, but
Most of them are
They can get
Rockettes.
huge.
Dancing Rockettes.
rockets,
They got those legs.
Got legs up to here,
puck
brother.
bunnies. Most of them
I
are
can't
puck
stop
bunnies.
talking like Mr. T. I'm not even in character anymore. This is just my new voice.
Your mother and I are doing a pottery class, Daniel.
I'm Hulk Hogan.
I'll make you an ashtray.
Hey, brother.
Remember me, it's Thunder Lips.
Yeah, I was in the beginning.
We're doing pottery to Unchained Melody.
I loved when Mr. T, for a while there, he was making a lot of appearances on Conan O'Brien's late night show. And that's where you learned that he had the weirdest laugh in history. He has a laugh that's like,
Yeah.
Like a Frenchman.
yeah, like a goose, like honking up some snot or something.
Mrs. LaRusso loves my laugh. She says it's real cute.
So,
So,
yeah.
yeah. Crane kick to the face.
LaRusso
Johnny
wins.
gets knocked down. That's
Johnny
fucking
comes
win.
up and he's like, I'm proud of you, LaRusso. You earned my respect.
Yeah,
Allie's
you're
like,
all right.
Meet me in the back seat of your car in 5 minutes. And Mr. Miyagi has a single tear roll down his cheek because he got his boy laid.
Freeze frame ending on Pat Morita's face with the single tear. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
I
what it needs
like
to.
movies that just fucking end.
Yeah.
They end at the end.
It's all you needed.
It's something that's such a lost art now.
It's all you needed. He won. He
Yeah.
got the girl. He won the tournament. He proved that he's a somebody.
I wanted to
Just
see...
needed several more movies and like 7 seasons or so of
Yeah.
a TV show to continue the story.
Just
apparently,
to really beat it into the ground.
I wanted the Stand By Me ending where it just like pans out and older Johnny LaRusso is sitting at a typewriter and he's like, I never did fight karate again like I did when I was a teenager.
Daniel LaRusso tried to stop a robbery, and he got shot in a donut shop. You never quite bully people so well as you do when you're 16 years old.
Allie
Isn't
went
that
back
the truth?
to Johnny, who had learned his lesson and was a cool guy after that.
Allie's trick to make Johnny jealous worked. So yeah, that's the Karate Kid. Hiya.
There's got to be some other karate words.
yeah.
Tune in next week when we talk about The Instructor. This has been the High and Low podcast. If it's something you like, why don't you recommend it to a friend? Tell somebody you like. Tell it to I don't know. You got a grandma, don't you?
A stepdad, maybe?
Stepdad.
Or maybe you don't call him your dad, but,
Yeah.
you know, he's somebody that's seeing your mother and, you know, you like him.
Yeah.
Maybe your mom
Right.
started dating this really nice guy who
Yeah.
respects her, treats her really well.
Yeah, and he's, you know, he can go out and play catch with you.
Hey, sucker, this is a pretty good podcast.
Or, share this
I make a nice soup.
with the aggro person in your life who is getting drunk in their in inappropriate situations.
If the trusted adult in your life is about to trauma dump on you, why don't you just give them this podcast?
Listen to this.
Yeah, that's good advice.
You can follow us on all the socials at High Low Movie Show. Till next time, I'm Vaughn.
I'm Luke.
I'm Mitchell.
Smell you later.